Hello and welcome to the Assetto Corsa Competizione Sim Series Solo Endurance Championship. This is the event that we run every now and again, 2.4 hours around a set of the fantastic tracks that we have in Assetto Corsa Competizione, and today we're traveling down to Oz to have a trip around the Mount Panorama circuit in Bathurst. I'm very excited to see this one. It's always a trip around here, and as always, I'm being joined by Lars Kastrup. How are you,
Hello.
Lars?
I am no longer hungover from New Year's Eve, so I got that going for me.
Beautiful, beautiful. Many people are just about to come out of that. I hope everyone in chat has also had a wonderful Christmas and New Year's and is ready to join us into the new year, where we're going to be we're very excited to start proceedings off again. We've already had our team event, our first team event of the year, our first team event ever, and we're now starting up the Solo Endurance Championship at round 3 in the middle of our Solo Endurance season. At Bathurst, we're going to have GT3s and GT4s on the grid today, with pros and AMs in GT4 and pro silver and AM classes in GT3. And we can see on our screen here the standings that we have going so far. Dan Terry is in the lead so far. Said so far far too much, but in silver class and overall, he's had 2 wins in his class. So fantastic work from him. Steve Hughes is leading the pro class, just 1 point behind Dan Terry for the overall championship so far. Following him is Ryan Ware, who is leading for the GT4s in the pro class there and overall, obviously. Chris Meadows, coming the second silver, has been trying to give a good fight to Dan Terry up at the top. And then we have Julia Rodriguez and Zach Morgan in an incredibly close battle there for the AM GT4 championships and for second place overall in the GT4s. Ray Birch for the amateur GT3s has been the most consistent driver there, having not won a single of his class's races. And then we have Rodrigo Iverson and Florian Lupiaz in GT4 Pro, showing the consistency of the better GT4 guys. I think they have a smaller field, but the GT4 drivers who are doing it every week. And then everyone's favorite, Mika Maninka, rounds out our top 10. So moving into this race, Lars, is there anyone throughout the field that you are looking at to do well here?
Well, I mean, there are 2 people I'm looking at particularly today, and one of them is, of course, Julio Rodriguez, who is not joined by Zach Morgan today, I'm afraid. But that only means he has to win if he wants to carry the whole thing. And the other one is a new driver we have called Coleman Corkery, who is in the GT3 Pro class, and he's proper fast.
Nice. Good to see new drivers, new blood, obviously coming into here always. I'm looking forward to seeing Shane Thomas. He's a big fan of the mountain, always talking about how much he loves Bathurst. So I want to see him perform well. He's down in 13th so far. Yeah, hopefully we see a good race overall. Ashley Bloomfield as well, just under the top 10. He's actually tied for 10th with Keith Griffel and Mika Maninka. Seeing any of these guys move up the table would be fun. So,
yeah, go ahead.
Here is the Bathurst circuit at Mount Panorama. What are your thoughts of this circuit, Lars?
Well, I'm glad there are only 35 people on track today because it's so narrow and so annoying. And I'm just glad I'm not racing today.
That echoes the feelings of many people in the community, I'm sure. A lot of people not looking forward to having to tackle this tricky circuit. I'm in the Shane camp. I'm a huge fan of this track. I didn't used to like it because many people in the community will know I'm big into how raceable a circuit is. I'm not a hot lapper. I don't care about hot laps. They do not interest me. I do not find them that fun. The only reason they're good is to practice for racing. And so I've always been one of those, you can't race over the mountain, it's too tight, it's too tricky, which is all still true. But I think the big long straights give you just enough room to make those big moves. You get sort of like a bit of Monza and a bit of Macau. It's a great little...
Yeah, and I wish we had Macau in the game, but... That would be fun. To make do with that first.
And when you get it right over the mountain, especially the last part of the mountain where you're coming downhill, it's so satisfying when you pull it all together. It's one of the few tracks I do enjoy hot lapping because of the mountain section, so it's going to be really great seeing people there. We've already seen, just from watching this track map while everyone's been preparing, I've already seen deaths upon deaths in the chase. So we're gonna see some of that, deaths at the start and the finish of the mountain as always.
Yeah, and we'll see it on turn 1, turn 2, and all the other turns. No, not turns, laps actually.
Yes.
Just turn 1. Turn 1 people can handle, I hope.
Well, hopefully. The weird thing about this circuit is that I feel like most of your lap time and most of the like crashes in hot lapping actually do come in turn 1 and the last turn as well. Yeah, they seem so simple.
It's just a 90-degree turn, as we see in the map, someone going off-road.
Yep, the nice little runoff at the end there. One of the few places with actual runoff on this track. Yeah, they seem so simple. They're just 90-degree corners, but just something about the camber, the way they clip them, like it's really easy to spin into the pit wall or into the pit exit.
I would also say the penultimate turn, because you're coming in at around 270 and you have to do a hard brake into a left-hander.
Oh, yeah, it's one of my favorite types of corners.
I love the corner, but I keep dying at it.
Yes, absolutely. It reminds me of Indianapolis at Circuit de la South. It's the same sort of thing where it's this super fast corner immediately into a braking zone, and those sort of corners are always exciting and always cause many deaths.
Yes.
So having a quick look, we'll remind you, ! Timings in the chat to have a look at Pit Wall Live, so that if we don't catch any incidents, you can see people's lap times, people's sectors, and keep a track on your favorite drivers, even if they are not on the stream. Also, after the success of yesterday's 3 hours of Soldier team event, we're doubling the size for this one. We're not going to go much longer, but the Silverstone 6 hours on the 28th of February. Sign-ups are now going on in the Discord to get your team involved for that. On Tuesday, coming up, we have RSS Formula 3. We had a great Christmas event, lots of fun, a load of people there. So hopefully we'll see more of you coming to try out some of these F3 cars. We've also got more AC news coming, which we'll be talking about later on. We have, and talking about more AC news already, we have the Skip Barber Daily Series, which is set up by Leonard Shungle, which we want to give a shout out to. Leonard Shungle, obviously one of our lead admins and stewards. Really helps keep this community running, and he's started a whole community on SGP running those fun little cars. And obviously, ! Sign up if you want to join. If you like any of these things you see and excited, ! Sign up will give you a link to the Discord, where it's too late to probably sign up to the next season. Season 4 of the regular ACC series will be starting very soon.
It's also too late to sign up for season 3.
Yes, it is.
Yes.
The graphic hasn't been updated since season 3. That is true. Yeah. But for season 4, but we 5-week seasons for the regular series, and then we will be on to the next one. So you can start signing up. We're gonna start having a more regular schedule. We're hoping to, so that we can you can always know when things are coming up. And we're going to have both the team championships and the solo endurance championship continuing in the gaps between our regular season championships. And as we say that, this is a perfect time to hop into the game and have a look at our free practice, because they have finished.
Yeah.
Here are our times.
Stragglers.
Yeah, Stephen Hughes has set the fastest time so far in practice. Obviously, these times are not hugely representative always, as we see. Plenty of fast people not doing that well in practice, and plenty of people doing well in practice and then binning it on the laps. Good to see Coleman Corky right up there, a new driver that have not recognised from these events so far. Most of the other people I'm seeing, especially up the top, we know Steve Hughes, obviously, one of the leaders in this championship. Nicholas Alvarado, the keyboard and mouse king. Nicholas Norberg as well, the can man himself.
I would see Eric Strom. It's nice to see up there.
Yeah, Eric Strom is one of the great, I think, success stories about this event. Started off in AM, a backmarker, racing with the likes of myself, and has now really improved. Stuck with that Honda and has been doing really well. You can see he is, even in AM, this event was obviously started so long ago that a few people have sort of moved about in terms of where they are from playing the game more or less. And if we look down at the bottom of the screen, you can just see the top of the GT4 standings with their little blue ticks. Ryan Ware, as always, the king of the GT4s, is continuing to lead that, with Rodrigo Iverson in second so far in the Porsche, and Florian Lupiaz in the McLaren coming in third. I cannot imagine driving that BMW GT4 across the mountain. That must be a nightmare.
You just have to be an optimist, even though the car is like 4 stories tall or something. As I'm now being told that we have something called qualifying.
Yep. Make sure to get up our liveries 256, the car who's going out. So we're going to be on board with Julio Rodriguez for our first lap of the mountain.
The lovely Mercedes GT4, which is my preferred GT4 car.
Yes, it is. What is definitely it's a big popular one. Very good car, very strong, very fast. It's got the grunt. Apparently, from what I've heard on the straights specifically around here, it is leaps and bounds faster than every other GT4. So as long as they cannot die on the mountain, should be looking good for people like Julio Rodriguez. For those of you who don't know as well, we split our qualifying session up, so you can see at the top it's a 30-minute qualifying. That will be 15 minutes for the GT4s and then 15 minutes for the GT3s. No class divisions in this because there's just too many classes to do that.
Yeah, we have to keep track of 5 classes today, which is a lot.
Some of these camera angles are fantastic for watching them go over the mountain. Going to be useless in the race. Going to be absolutely useless in the race, absolutely. But very pretty. We also should also shout out Dan Terry for doing some work, setting some of the overlays up. We obviously have the SEC specific overlays and the lower third, which can show you some of the liveries that some of our drivers will be using.
Yes, the exclamation mark spotter, right? Well, at least that button used to work. Now we're just
Button
now just
definitely
like.
used to work.
Well, it's on screen, so.
There we go. Everything's beautiful.
Beautiful. Right. Rodriguez is about to start.
Yep, so we're sitting on board with Julio Rodriguez as he comes down to the first corner again. I said that this corner, it looks simple, but you can see a lot of people losing time or just throwing their laps fully away there, spinning into the left wall. But he's taken it pretty softly there, Julio, making sure he gets it. And now onto the first of the big straights that we have. Unfortunately, I don't remember. Yeah, unfortunately, I don't remember either of the names of the straights, but we come into the first corner. I'll have to pop up a track map as we're doing so.
Isn't it? I mean, turn 2 is tricky because you're not entirely sure where to brake actually.
Yep, there's a lot of non-exact braking points around here as we get into this tight hairpin coming up the mountain. A really nice turn to get right, and now we're kind of on a weird straight here because you are pretty much foot to the floor for most of this. I don't know how exactly it goes in GT4s, but in GT3s you can be almost fully foot to the floor. If you get it right, I think fully foot to the floor across this whole section up until just a little lift there and a big brake here to start descending the mountain where you have just constantly big brake, shift down, big brake, shift down. I think Julio went a little bit too much there, being safe, but going to set a nice banker lap is always good to do. So we've seen a lot of people struggling with setting that lap too late, and the final brake down into the forest elbow.
And now you step on it.
Yeah, or as Dan likes to call it, the Colby elbow. And now absolutely step on it, as Lars says, down this big back straight where you're going to reach the absolute limits of the top speed of your car over the hill again. As you get a
corner.
Yep, you get a little bit of extra room on the left that you can use here. You see Judo uses it well to cut in, get a good line, and then brake really hard down to this corner. Up the camber, left, and then right. You've got to get on the accelerator as soon as possible. We're still turning right to rush down to the last corner. And then I think it's about between these two boards. You get in for this. Don't spin into the pit wall because that can really ruin your race. That's how I died in our last 2.4 hours of Bathurst. And across the line.
In a 2:15.
2:15, which considering 2:03s were the fastest times we saw of the GT3s, I don't think that's too bad.
It's okay.
Yeah, they're normally about 10 seconds behind, a little bit less sometimes.
Speaking of that, the BMW is in.
Yep, BMW have managed to lap. That is already. I'm already impressed with Martins for completing a whole lap of the mountain.
No.
Yeah.
He made it.
And we're not seeing a huge amount more laps getting crossed right now. So
I would say Adam Rayner in the number 25. No, he just went off-road. Why am I saying this? Rodriguez's current lap is invalid though. I saw him be a lawnmower earlier.
Nice, yes. As we can't see right now because we're watching Ryan Ware, who has not set a lap yet, but is coming down to the chase. A lot of people didn't set their laps there, at least a few. It was quite actually spread out outlap, which is good to see. We can have a problem sometimes in these events with people stacking up their laps a bit too much, a bit more than is necessary on the outlap, not giving themselves enough room to set a good lap. But no worry about that for most of our drivers here. And Ryan Ware, 2:14, jumps to the top of the table. And now that he's set that, we can see the other times of our drivers. Rodriguez still in second with the 2:15, so a strong lap time. Victor Yanba coming in third with the 2:16, and then a ton of people in 2:16s before David Wirch and Adam Rayner, who clearly had incidents on their lap.
He did, but he is also driving a Ginetta, which is the slowest car in the game.
It is definitely not a good track for the Ginetta. As a big fan of the Ginetta, this is not where you want to drive the Ginetta, because Monza and here are probably the two worst places you could pick, because those big straights, you're just going to get ruined on. Very short gearing in that car, and you're going to hit your top gear quite early, probably on both straights, and you're just going to be stuck doing nothing.
For quite some time, yeah. Now we see Martins is moving up into second.
Oh, so one of the BMWs doing incredibly well here. I guess, to be fair, as much as I've been maligning that car, it is an absolute beast on the straights, like the Mercedes. So
It is, yeah.
you can gain a lot of time in those as long as you survive the mountain, which I can say I would not be able to in that car. But we can see how long. You can see how long already Reynard in this image has been on the limiter. I'm going to watch him, sit on board for him as he goes down the other straights to see if he gets the limiter.
He'll beat Iverson with his 2:14.7.
Yeah. Oh.
Which just came in.
That's a big one. Head of Ryan Ware for now. Ryan Ware just coming down to the chase, so we'll see if he can set a better time than that. Right, here we go. Now we get to see how quickly the Ginetta runs out of puff.
Yeah. Or if he even has any puff.
And he's done it. Oh no, one lost kit.
Just in time to turn right.
Fantastic. Lovely little car. Great looking thing. Not quite as nice as the version AC, a lot of people have been saying, which we've been doing running in some of our AC events, but it's good fun. It also helps that that's a cup event, so you're not getting out-dragged on the straight by the bigger boys, bullied by the bigger GT4s.
See Vöckler putting a 2:17 something, coming in at 8, which means all but Bedford and Otley has set lap times now.
Absolutely, and Bedford is right behind him there in that Mercedes, just going to try and start a lap.
And elsewhere, Otley is trying, but he keeps crashing on the mountain. So that's an experience. Also, dear God, the Alvarado fans have arrived in the chat.
Yes, let's go.
Go! Looks that theory is interesting. Is that some kind of I don't know, Grateful Dead thing? I don't know.
I'm not sure, but give me a second because I'm having some slight technical issues. Hopefully this doesn't kill the whole stream. That's always a nice calming thing for me to say. It did not. Everything went fine. Don't worry. It's fine. So we're watching this incredibly colourful, as you say, Lars, livery coming down. Okay, everything is not exactly fine, but I'm going to restart Discord quickly, because Discord is not incredibly well made. But we are still working. We're watching this colourful Mercedes coming around to end his thing. I'm back in, and Lars is audible again.
Yeah, I don't know what you just did there, but it was fun.
Yeah, don't worry. Audio issues never stop.
Never.
Neither do bots come in the chat. Hi bots. Bye bots.
There you go. You can find the button faster than I can, actually. Right, so...
Alright, Bedford is crossing the line, but it looks like he wrecked it again. No bueno. Otley also has not set a lap yet, unfortunately. Looking back at our top step, Ryan Ware has retaken it from Iverson with a fantastic lap, 2:14.2. Those two drivers, the only two in the 2:14 still.
You know, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw 2:13 by then. Yeah, the 2:13 coming up, because... I mean, why not? Iverson was our Season 1 champion in the Sprint Series.
Yep, absolutely. Driving the Lexus in GT3. He definitely these two could push each other. Bloomfield setting a pretty good time as well now, getting down into the 2:14s himself. Jose Martinez as well in the Bimmer, coming up to set a staunching lap if he can really get around this last corner well. A little bit wide there. But as we check in the basic HUD, he was still up on it. He actually lost all of his time in the last corner, though, and that is a perfect example of what I'm saying.
And he ruined T1 as well.
Those corners, they don't look hard, but for some reason they are.
They are.
Oops.
Coming behind him is Lupias, who does know how to take the corner, so at least someone can do it. We have Victor Jaliba here in his pretty okay car. I'm just seeing after we went past him, but
Lovely livery on that car from Victor.
Elsewhere, Iverson has actually set a almost fastest time.
He has, yeah. Only a 10th slower than Ryan Ware on that attempt. Great to see. As we're coming up to the end of qualifying, and big hit of the wall by Bloomfield, really pushing it there as he comes out of Forest Elbow down towards the chase. On the Conrod straight, as I now have all of the corner names open.
Terrific.
So fast over the mountain, I don't know how I'm going to get all of these corners in. Apparently there are turns 3 to 19 over the mountain.
Yeah, no, I'll just say left, right, left, right.
Definitely not going to be keeping up with quite all of those. Got a little bit more time to set laps, and they can keep going as a normal qualifying would after the 15-second hits. So Bloomfield, if he wants to, can rush around for another lap. But anyone who is in the pits now is in the pits for good.
He will be stuck there, as they'll also be stuck behind some what's called GT3s in a few moments.
Yeah, Bloomfield going off into the escape road there for a little bit, but did set a decent lap coming around as we see Bradford going to get an improvement. Top 3 very close now is great to see, although I don't think any of them have gone out to set another lap. So as Bradford comes over the line, that's going to be pretty much a non-improvement from him.
Yep.
We then have Adam Rayner and Florian Lupiaz in the McLaren that we are watching coming around to end. Lupiaz could jump a couple places here with this improvement, only manages 1, but is incredibly close there to Martins in 4th position. As we see the GT3 drivers coming out.
No, that's actually not true. Virch, David, I think it's Virch, I don't know. David, the Australian in the Porsche. I think it's Australian, I don't know. Why did someone just spin in the pits? I definitely think I just saw Eric Strum spin in the pits.
Definitely could have happened. Maybe doing some celebratory donuts as we see David Wirch coming over the finish line, but not going to set an improvement of his lap. So he is down in 11th. Shout outs to Julio Rodriguez, the first driver we watched go around who managed to stay the fastest of the amateur GT4s, at least, with Ryan Ware, Rodrigo Iverson and Ashley Bloomfield taking the top 3 spaces, and the Bimmer of Martins taking the 2nd lap, which is impressive to see.
Goes to show that the Bimmer actually works. You're just wrong.
Absolutely. I cannot imagine how these men are managing to haul that thing over the mountain, but it does have big straight line grunt right up there with the Mercedes as some of the best GT4s in a straight line. So with that said, they're gonna have a good time on the straights. At least we're seeing a lot tighter spread this time from a lot of our drivers. You can see people still locking up right behind each other. I'm not sure it's smart for drivers like Steve Hughes to start their lap quite this close to the car in front.
It's got to be faster than Maninka.
Yeah, you're basically, if you're starting your qualifying lap like this, you are saying, I am not faster than you. He's going to start weaving on the straights. There we go, giving a little bit of time. This is that typical Formula 1 thing. but he's been overtaken coming into the straights. That's such a frustrating thing to happen. But let's stop talking about out laps and start talking about our hot laps as we see Mika Maninka coming into the first corner. This time we're going to get to see the GT3s on board with the Nissan GTR, my new favourite. I've fallen in love with more recently.
It's a lovely car. It's a lovely car.
Great fun as he's coming up the mountain straight into the bends. Got to carry as much speed through this as possible. You basically start accelerating halfway through the corner up towards the cutting. Pretty much full there. Another one of those fast corners into a immediate braking zone for a slow corner, like with the chase. And now he's going to be pretty much full accelerator, as you can hear through a lot of this. A little bit of a lift going into there. And then he should be pretty much full. A little bit of a lift through here, just to not hit that wall. I think a little bit of a confidence lift there, but nice and full through there. Big drop down now into the S's. Nice simple name. That's the Dipper, right? Which makes sense. Well, this is the Dipper, sorry, which makes sense. As you can see, one of those big elevation drops. And our third big elevation drop coming into the Forest Elbow, where he gets absolutely on the power a little bit late there. But he's going to now have a big run down the Conrad Straight. Turbocharger absolutely screeching as he comes in to brake for the chase.
Just whine a lot, yeah.
And now the last corner for the main straight. Before you go into the first corner, which I've just discovered is named Hell Corner, which it's quite an accurate name for it during Tin 1, I think.
I can imagine.
So
the first time to inbound. Hughes, Venner, Maninka, Terry.
Yep, absolutely. You can see the GT3s here just leaping to the top of the timings. Obviously, very easy to get them around faster than a GT4. And not too many people having their lap times deleted.
Eldorado had one.
Yeah. There's a couple down there.
I just want to go out and say that the times you see on exclamation mark timings, that is pit wall, they don't count invalid laps. We're going to get that question at some point.
Fair enough.
But yeah, I mean, we're going to see faster laps than Hughes' lap. It's because he has the speed to go down to, I think, 201.
Steve Hughes in the big old Bentley, squeezing it through the tight turns at the top of the mountain, is your leader so far. She had a bit of a frustrating setup there.
No, that doesn't work, man.
Oof.
That was a no bueno as he hit Ollie Venner, who, he had a spinala, so to say.
Very frustrating setup there as Ollie Venner passed Steve Hughes on the warm-up lap. As we're now watching Corkery.
Yeah.
Coleman Corkery coming down in the Aston Martin. We've got a couple of people actually getting big improvements on their time. Shane Thomas there in that blue and white Aston Martin, with possibility for a huge improvement to jump up and catch Steve Hughes.
Eldorado has set a good lap. Terry and Corkery are the next ones to set laps. Not very inspiring, but their lap times. Corkery pits, and Terry continues.
So Shane Thomas jumped to the top of the leaderboards there with a 2.7. Fantastic lap there. Showing his love of the mountain.
I was almost about to quote, what's it called, William Shatner, who once said something about making love to a mountain. But I can't remember the quote suddenly. But it
Fair
begs the
enough.
question, how do you make love to a mountain? We'll have to ask Thomas about that later.
Yeah, he's a big fan, so he would be the one to know. So we're seeing a couple of the drivers right down the bottom improving their time, which is good to see. Andrew Hearn, Michael Lueck, and Chris Meadows all setting fast laps, along with Jesper Eriksson, who's in 11th so far. Mika Maninka going to try and set a big improvement to his time.
I'm being told that Strom nice, which is interesting.
He is in 8th position right now with a 2:04.4. Very good for him. Hugely faster than anyone else in AM, as we said. It was a while ago that we started this, a few months ago now, and at that time he was definitely in the AMs, but he has improved so much over these last few months.
Few things I like to say. Gareth, you have a loose connection in your microphone somewhere. And while you fix that, I'll just make a public apology for saying that Strom spun in the pits. It was, of course, Benjamin Dagoneau in a very much similar colored car. As
Okay.
we hope Gareth works again.
I'm going to. You can hear me, but is it staticky and awful and sounding? Is that what?
No, but there was static before.
Okay.
Definitely, like you had some kind of connection that was close to
I'm
air.
definitely having audio issues at the moment, but what I'm hoping, and hopefully chat can put me in this, is that my what are they called, my filters or whatever, my plugins that I have on my voice for the stream should make it sound fine. I did forget to warn you about this, Lars, but yeah, it will probably sound awful for you because Discord doesn't allow me to do anything with my voice.
Don't worry. I mean, I can't even use my filters in this case.
Yes. Yeah, you'll start
I sound like
Discord's
a man
giving
when
me.
I sound like a man when I'm broadcasting. Okay, anyway, Alvarado moving up to 2nd. Justin Clerk moving up to 6th, and thus leading the silver class.
Yeah, Justin Clerk, quite a fast guy. Been doing a lot of AC with him. Good stuff. Ollie Venner on a big lap along with Maciej Markowski. Venner actually just about to come over the line, and this is going to shoot him up quite a lot. This could put him in 2nd place, and it does with a 2:02.3. Very good from him. Markowski's going to be the next person to set an improvement on his lap time.
It's nice to see a Lamborghini in action.
Yeah, it's good. We've got 2 of them in there with Nicholas and Maciej, and hopefully they should be at home on the straights here at least.
Pretended Monza.
Yeah, exactly. As Markowski jumps up to 7th position with a 2:03.7. A good time, only just behind Justin Clerk. Very similar times.
600ths off. That is not a lot.
Here we see Chris Meadows, who is just ahead of... Is that
A car?
Thomas behind it? I think it might be Thomas, but round at the top we have had a few switch-ups. And
He's coming in with that.
it is Thomas,
time.
okay. For some reason, it says 77 in the game, but it says 7 in my broadcasting tool. Anyway, Steve Hughes is 7. Here we go. That was the mix-up.
Yeah, there we are.
I'll restart this quickly. And he is actually improving upon his pole time already so far through this lap, and he's right near the end of it. So this is going to be an almost definite improvement into the 201s, as you predicted, as long as he can get this last corner right, and he does a sterling job.
It's sterling, but it is a 201.8. And that should be our pole time. Unless Venner has some brilliant thing up his head now. He doesn't. Yeah, that should be the pole time. And the good news is that every GT3 has set a lap now. All 21 of them.
Oh, that's great. So none of them will be starting behind the GT4s, which is obviously a nightmare if you don't manage to set even a banker. But we still have a lot of people improving their times. No huge improvements coming down from anyone near the front, but a lot of people who are just setting slightly better lap times, which is great to see. Zorinsky coming down with a 1 second improvement to jump himself all the way up to 10th. Huge shouts from him, just behind Mika Maninka. Hearn as well, jumping a huge amount up from the bottom of the pack. We have Michael Lurk in this lovely patriotic American Porsche.
Yeehaw.
Yeehaw indeed, as he comes around the last corner with a 8/10 improvement. Keeps it in the last corner and is going to jump up only 17th place, but that was quite a big time jump. He was a little bit behind.
Over a second behind the second slowest GT3 is Fabian Parny, who is not having his vegan power today, I guess.
Yeah, definitely not being a fan of the mountains, it seems, as we see him just absolutely obliterate the wall at Forest Elbow.
For the third time in this lap, actually.
The soy boy livery not helping him here. Australia definitely not into the vegan life.
No, they just throw another shrimp on the Barbie, mate.
Yep. Meats and beers.
I could go for some meats and beers, to be honest. Maybe we can have some in the pre-race break, I guess. Since we're only a minute away from the end of qualifying.
Zorinsky is also on a big improvement. He could get a flat 3 out of this, which could move him up to 7th position. He has the chance to get 6th if he can make up just a little bit of time through the chase and the last corner.
Will he?
Yeah, lost a little bit through the chase there and through the last corner, so it's not going to be quite as improvement as I was hoping, but it still actually puts him in 7th. He's just not quite so close to Justin Clerk.
Oliveira has parked, so he's not going to challenge for it. The last car on the track is Justin Clerk.
Absolutely. Is Mika Maninka the next guy to come around and finish his lap? Is going to hop himself just up into 7th position, so good work by him. The next car, Keith Griffel, closely followed by Nicholas Norberg. They are the opposite way in the standings as they are on the track, and they will finish that way. Justin Clerk now in his Audi.
That's a good way to end the lap, but it is not much faster, actually. So that concludes the No, actually, it doesn't conclude the qualifying. What am I saying? Benjamin Horiot is on the track.
Yeah, he must have got across the line just before the end of qualifying to go for one absolute final attempt. He is on his lap time right now. He can sit on the basic HUD with him so you can follow it. Just 200ths behind. Oh, lovely run there across the top of the line.
Send him your energy.
Yeah, absolutely. Try and get a good last lap. And he is currently 15th on the standings with a 2:04.4. Only a tiny improvement is needed to jump him up one place. He is a 2:04.467, and Strom ahead of him is a 2:04.461. So he only needs, and it doesn't actually go in thousandths, the in-game timer. So all you need to see here is 0.00, and he could actually still make it up. Not doing that quite so yet, but he still has 2 corners left. And as I've said, you can still gain quite a lot in these corners.
Yeah, that was great. That was great.
Good work through the chase. If he can do the last corner well, he could just steal this last position. Good speed into and through the corner.
He has to make it. He beat Terry. 600s behind Strom, but that was a pretty good effort. And that is the end of qualifying. Will you do the honors of telling the viewers our standings?
Absolutely. We'll have a look at GT4 first, who are the first guys to go through. Ryan Ware is in the lead in the Aston Martin V8 Vantage GT4 with a time of 2:14.1. And just 1/10 behind him is Rodrigo Iverson in the Porsche Cayman. One more 10th behind, Ashley Bloomfield in another Aston Martin. These three gonna hopefully have a great fight for the lead. And then a little drop down to 2:15 for Martinez and Lupiaz, with Rodriguez in 6th, leading the AMS. Daniel Durrett and Victor Yanba. Daniel Bradford, the second of the AMS, before Future, I'm going to go with.
I go with Victor, but that's just me being German.
Victor in the McLaren is going to round out our top 10 for the GT4s. Moving on to GT3s, and we have Steve Hughes once again in that big old Bentley boy, proving to be probably our greatest endurance driver in this, at least in the solo championships. 2:01.8, a fantastic time around one of the trickiest tracks in the game, with 2 purple sectors to his name. The third purple sector going to Ollie Venner in the Audi just behind him. Nicholas Alvarado, Shane Thomas, and our new driver Corkery, all in the Aston Martins, gonna absolutely lock out that part of the field for the Aston Martins. And then another Audi from Justin Clerk, Mika Maninka, Zaransky, Maciej Markowski, Ericsson rounding out our top 10, with Clerk, Zaransky and Ericsson being the top 3 of our silver drivers. Our fastest AM is Keith Griffel in 13th place.
We are on the track. You know what? Yeah. Oh, yeah, and victory penalties. We need to remember the victory penalties.
Oh, I went a bit fast. Where's the track gone? There's the track.
I think that's a city, but okay.
I had it on very fast earlier to do the setup.
I mean, been there, done that.
So
you might want to slow that down, buddy.
Yeah, I just realized I should disconnect it from the car as well. Anyway, here is our grid.
Yeah, go ahead.
Hughes is obviously on the front row. We have Venner in the second row in lovely little Aston. I'm going to sort of check out the liveries a little bit more, because we've obviously already gone through our Lord and Savior Dan Terry with the bright stage lights in his face. Warning people not to punt, because you will get an earful for our stewards if you do, obviously. Alvarado Thomas, here's our sort of Aston Martin section of the track, which is quite full up. Not as many custom liveries we're seeing today. Obviously, custom liveries are getting phased out of the tournament because they cause too many issues for production and for people's lag. We've got obviously the ACCSS official livery here, ran by Dan Terry in the Aston Martin. A lovely livery. This is probably my favourite of the ACCSS ones. Pretty good. Which is your favourite livery in the field? Nice Ferrari one there. Where actually is another great one that I'm a big fan of. Black and red. Sort of got that ACCSS sort of hatching at the back like Dansters, but with the black and red. Very nice little colour selection there. Oh, yeah, the Go Vegan Ferrari. Friends, not food. Is a big favourite amongst the community. The soy boy himself, Piogne, with the Hero Banana Man. I think that runs it for most of our custom liveries coming in. Oh no, Victor Yanba with the Goob livery.
Yeah.
Big fan of this one. What's your favourite of the custom liveries, Lars?
Oh, you know what? Yeah, I actually go with Geneva because it actually looks... It just looks like
a real race car livery. Yeah.
It looks like a can of energy drink.
Looks looks lovely. And now, as our drivers are getting ready to go on the parade lap, we're going to take a quick break and go to a highlight. A new highlight, by the way. So, everyone, I hope you enjoy the first new highlights in a long time. And as we learn one more thing about OBS, which I will have to note down to go and make sure my settings are all in order later today. I hope you enjoyed the new highlights. And if you tune in for our first of our proper season events in on the... I won't say when it is because I don't know when it is, but soon. You'll get to hear that with audio.
Oh, okay, cool. I'm pretty sure we're on Friday, actually.
Yep, I believe we have turned around who's doing each stream. I do not exactly remember which is which, but I will be there on Sunday. We will be doing Friday, Saturdays, and Sundays will all be covered for our regular season. So if you are new to the stream, make sure to hit follow so that you will catch us live when we do go.
It's roughly around 8 p.m. in Europe somewhere.
Yeah.
But it's always on the same time.
Yes, now, same time every day.
Before we begin the race, let's just take a moment to laugh at Luca, who has forgotten to press drive.
There's always one.
Always one.
As we see people... Absolutely, this is the one bad thing about everyone learning and improving and getting better, is everybody has also learned and improved and got better at horribly abusing the start procedure in ACC.
Yes.
As we come around the corner, the awkward grid hatchings that go all the way around the corner of Bathurst, which means a lot of people are actually going to start with the last corner as their first corner to go.
Indeed.
As we go green, and a great start there from Ollie Venner, I believe it is, who's pushing around the outside and has actually managed to jump Hughes on the first corner as long as he can keep his foot in there. Just staying ahead as Nicholas Alvarado goes side by side of Shane Thomas.
A bit of love tabbing amongst the DT4s, I think. Bedford was hit by someone.
So a little bit of aggro over at the front as Shane Thomas is trying to get on the inside through the first corner heading up the mountain, and he manages to, going a little bit wide. There is Olivena, who's now going to get caught up in the fight of the Astins behind them. Him and Shane Thomas now side by side as they head up towards the cutting. Tight little hairpin, and that's going to stop any of the sort of fighting that's been going on so far and calm our boys down a little bit as they come across the mountain one by one. Did you see any huge incidents in the back, or just some bumping and grinding?
I saw a love tap, that's all. I mean, we've had 4 or 5 corners without incidents.
Fantastic. Look at the little map there, and you can see for most of our drivers, except Luak, as Lars said, who started from the pits due to getting to press drive. The rest of the field is all going pretty well here. Let's hop back to the lead of the GT4s, and we see a nice tight run going across the mountain here with Ware still in the lead, Roddy Griveson and Bloomfield. So no changes happening in the GT4 field.
Though, since no one has crashed, let's just go over the rules quickly, I guess. I'll take that as a yes. 2 mandatory pit stops, fuel and tires. You can see some penalties. Those are success penalties based on last month's events at Silverstone. Yep. 10 seconds for the winner and 5 seconds for the runner-up of each class.
Absolutely good to see that they've... the stewards, who are always doing a super hard job improving the racing in ACCSS, they have found a much quicker way of applying all these penalties, so we don't have to wait to see all of them. 10 seconds obviously for the winner, 5 seconds for the follower-up. And everybody in chat, if you could just say a silent prayer for Michael Luak, who had to go across the whole top of the mountain, stuck behind the GT4s, unable to pass, and now is starting to cut a few of them off of his list as he works his way up the order.
Adam Rayner has unfortunately crashed. He had a big off-road moment.
It's definitely unfortunate.
But still, it is a 2-hour and 24-minute race, so, you know, maybe it's not a problem.
Yep, lot to do. He's in the AM split of the GT4s, so going to see plenty of incidents from some of the less experienced guys there. I swear, as you, I'm sure, as you see them sparking, and a little wall tap there from Mika Maninka in the background in the blue Nissan.
I love 7.5.
Yeah, just trying to show the mountain who's boss nice and early on here as we have a nice race up at the front. Still going on. Nicholas Alvarado has managed to get past both Shane Thomas and Olivena, so these three still juggling for position behind Steve Hughes, but impressively not letting Steve Hughes get too far ahead either, even with some of their fighting.
So far, so good.
Absolutely, coming down to the chase. No one making any big crazy moves so far. A little bit deep in there by Shane Thomas, which could put him at risk on this last corner, but he's taken the defensive line. So Olivena, if he wants to get past, is going to have to go the whole way around, and that's absolutely not going to happen, as it looks like we see a death. Nicholas Norberg has gone off a little bit there at the chase.
Good sleep, but
yep, doesn't look to be incredibly damaged, so not too worried about him. So we see Paul in his nice Ferrari livery there, getting past the Aston Martin of Chris Meadows just before that corner, now right in behind this McLaren. That's Benjamin Hoyer.
Only 2 people have died so far. That would be Adam Rayner and Ian Utley. Other than that, it's smooth sailing for everyone else, actually.
Luak, a bit of a frustrating time at the start, but at least he should be having some fun now, taking some places off the GT4s into the background there.
Yeah, Daniel Bradford has forgotten to turn left.
Yeah, he has managed
no other way of putting it.
To find himself in the escape road, missed his braking zone there, and is going to have to get that big chunky American monster back onto the track. Gonna try and be on the grass for as long as possible.
We have a crash. No, Ollie Venner has gone off on the mountain.
Oh, Venner, no. Looks like he didn't take any of the other people with him, so just a mistake made by Ollie Venner is going to throw him down the field. He is now only a few places ahead of Daniel Terry in 14th. So this looks like a 12th position now for Venner, and he's going to have to put some work in to get further up the field. Looking back at the front, starting to stretch out, but the other three are still in their order.
And since someone did mention pitwall, try using the whole focus tool to pick some guys and see how long their stints are and how long their gaps are. It's really interesting. Just a recommendation to the viewers.
Absolutely. I'm going to have to look into pitwall a bit more myself when I'm doing less of the streams next time. Yeah, pretty clean first lap from these guys overall. Most of the incidents we've seen has been solo incidents, which is very nice to see. No one getting taken out. As we now watch Ryan Ware. Behind them is a nice little fight here. Actually, Bloomfield has actually taken the lead of this little pack into second. And Iverson is now fighting off the approach of Lupiaz in the McLaren behind him. Lupiaz, one of the fastest guys as per our original seasons. Didn't see him for a little while there, but has come back into the community. Nice to see, and is really putting the pressure now on the Porsche of Iverson ahead of him.
Let's hope he doesn't put too much pressure on him.
And here's Luerk here, who has managed to make it right up to the front of the GT4 pack. Just a few more to go, but he's going to catch the leaders now across the mountain. So tricky pack to get past, because these guys are going to be pretty fast, as we see Olivera right up the backside of Andrew Hearn. He's going to be really pressuring some of these guys, and he's just got to keep his head and not make any mistakes over the mountain. He's losing a ton of time behind these slower cars.
He's going to lose even more time if he crash.
Yeah, absolutely. He's not going for anything too stupid so far, but definitely is an aggressive driver and could want to get past.
I mean, that's not aggression. He's just full-on berserker mode at this point.
Yeah. Also, some of it will be him just trying not to outbrake himself into the back of the McLaren, but coming through here, getting a nice wide line to try and do a huge run out of here and get past going into the chase.
It is time for that 5.2 liter engine to do some work.
Rolling past in the Audi. Daniel Terry has also made his own way up to 12th ahead of Strom and Griffel. So good movement up from him. But this is going to start getting very frustrating for Venner now, because he needs to make it stick. He knows it's a long race, so he doesn't have to be too aggressive. But if he's going to be stuck behind a slower car like this through the mountain for too long, he's going to lose a ton of time. He's gone into the corner.
Oh, that was a touch.
Not left a huge amount of room, but he manages to squeeze through on there, and he's now got into a good position to take the line.
I'm sorry, Gareth, but that was not a squeeze. There was a touch.
Yep. Yeah, and now he has managed to take the place, as well as Daniel Terry, who was squeezed ahead of Andrew Hearn just behind him as well. And we see, looks like a Honda, so that must be Strom, who's also missed his braking zone, done the Daniel Bradford, and put himself into the escape road.
It's the wrong way.
A bad time now for Ian Otley, who's had an incident himself, was in the pits earlier, and has actually cleared one of his mandatory pits, which is nice for him already, but it now means that he's just in the middle of the GT3 field, which is not where you want to be as a GT4, just absolutely crawling across the mountain, just offline, trying to let as many GT3s pass him as quickly as possible without losing too much. But this is a bit of a nightmare to have to drive, especially over the mountain. It's a little bit of space now that he can actually try and set his own laps, but that's also going to have really put him off of his rhythm, diving out the way to make sure everyone gets past him and he can carry on.
Well, at least he has a lot of clean space behind him now until well, the next car catches him.
And a big moment here for Luerk, who has managed to get past the GT4 field. So finally he has been let out and can start chasing the rest of the GT3s. He's got a big gap to do there, but he can start putting some work in, as the front of GT4 incredibly competitive as always, with Ryan Ware just ahead of Ashley Bloomfield going across the mountain. the two Aston Martins as Lupiaz has taken Iverson for third position.
There's no reason to sprint now. As we saw in Silverstone in round 2, it is a pit race. Last race was decided in the pits, and I think this will be decided in the pits as well.
Very, very possible that we will see that. As Lars said earlier with Ollie Venner, you lose more time if you crash, so it is always safer to just sit behind someone and keep pushing, but these guys will be loving the fight up here as they roll into the chase. We look at Ollie Venner now, who is behind Mika Maninka. He has got past Andrew Hearn, and so has Dan Terry. So Dan Terry, obviously,
moved up to 4th in the class.
Yep, doing well and taking advantage of what he can. But as soon as there was clean air, Ollie Venner has just sprinted away. You can really see how much pace some of the front guys have compared to our midfielders. He's now right on the back of Mika Maninka, and this is something we're going to see a lot for the rest of the race with these super fast guys being here.
We're also going to see it soon because Hughes is about to catch the first back marker.
Yeah, so the GT4s are going to start coming into bigger play here, and I think that is going to be the most important thing to how well you do, is how cleanly you manage to keep passing the GT4s, as Venner gets a nice clean pass there on Mika. Probably thinking about his own race, doesn't want to risk having an Aggie front runner right behind him trying to push past, so letting Venner go, and Venner can now set his sights on Ericsson for P8.
Thomas has been looking at Alvarado's backside for 2 laps now, but he should he might do a move at some point.
Absolutely.
He was closer before I said it, but yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. They definitely have been following real close for quite a while. These 3 Aston Martins taking up 2, 3, and 4, just coming up to the damaged Chevrolet of Daniel Bradford, who is the second to last GT4 right now, the first of the real major train of GT4s, as you see him getting out the way as we're coming up here. Very unlucky there for Corky Coleman, who's going to get caught a little bit longer than everyone else. That's just how these multi-class races go. Nothing wrong there done by Daniel. Sometimes you just get unlucky with where you catch a back marker.
Sideways. I don't know if the camera caught that, but he went sideways right in front of everyone else, actually.
No, did not catch that. Was that Daniel Bradford who spun?
No, it was a white car on my screen, at least.
Oh, no, Daniel Bradford is still going.
Yeah, it was definitely Adam.
It was Adam Raynor. Ah, unfortunate.
He literally spun right in front of Alvarado and Hughes, but he didn't collect them.
Nice. Good. So no one died.
That was lucky. I mean, that should have been a big incident.
Although someone else has died up the mountain. 94.
Yeah, that is... Yeah, that
Eric
is...
Strom. Eric Strom getting... spinning out across the mountain. Unfortunate to see.
Happens a lot. Ah, yeah, someone in the chat is mentioning Keith Griffith, and we haven't actually mentioned him. He is leading the AM class by, I think, around 7 seconds to Dagenot and Strom.
Absolutely. We've also had a big switch up in our GT4 class.
Yeah, I see.
Where is Ryan? Ryan Ware is just... he was right behind, and I just for some reason didn't see him. He has been overtaken, however, by Florian Lupiaz, who is now leading. Rodrigo Iverson is back up, and Bloomfield has fallen down to 25th position. So some sort of incident happened there, which has thrown our GT4 field off. But still good to see that the front of the GT4s is really close still.
It's going to be close until they have to pit, because then they'll have to serve their victory penalties, the success penalties, on 5 and 10 seconds.
Yep.
And everything is going to be scattered to the wind.
Absolutely.
And we go on with, actually Corkery, can we go on with him? Because we have all 3 Aston Martins on a line now.
Yeah, absolutely, and they're just coming up to some GT4s as well. Alvarado, they're just trying to push past this Mercedes. Coleman there getting a bit of a better run out of there because he wasn't slowed by the GT4s, but is going to have to slow down to fit into the back of these guys, and we have a Porsche just ahead of them as well, who they're going to need to get past. There we go. They've all done it nice and safely, rolling down towards the chase. Hughes has started to get a bit of a lead out now, so that thing I mentioned earlier where these guys fighting is sort of letting the Steve get a bit away with it is happening again, unfortunately for them. Shout out again to Nicholas Alvarado, the keyboard and mouse king.
Faster with a mouse than I am with a wheel.
Yeah.
And I wonder why I bother sometimes.
Faster than many people with a wheel, as you can see by the 20-some people who are behind him right now. 18 in class. So let's have a little look through the field and find some of these drivers that people in the chat have been shouting at out, as Lars said earlier. We have Keith Greffel in the Porsche, who is leading AM class and is right now just behind the Aston Martin of Meadows for 15th. Alvarado, obviously, as people were shouting out, another one of the America's drivers. And then we have some shout-outs for number 13, which is Robert Bedford, who is down here in the Mercedes, in this very colourful Mercedes, just following David Wirch, about to get lapped there by Maciej Markowski in the Lamborghini. Ashley Bloomfield is now stuck behind Rodriguez. And this is not a good place for him to be because, as we were talking about earlier, that Mercedes is a beast on the straights. And Bloomfield seems to agree with me because he is diving into the pit lane. He does not want to try and struggle to overtake that Mercedes, who's going to be an absolute beast on the straights. And so instead, he's diving in to take his first mandatory pit stop, as we see a few drivers have. Renault and Otley right at the bottom, but also Mika Maninka, who's just left the pits, I think, a lap before this, and is now starting his climb again, wanting to get out of some of the havoc of other drivers and just set his own lap times.
Speaking of havoc, Jesper Eriksson is down at 33rd in his GT3, and I don't know what happened to him, actually.
He has not pit, so he must have had some sort of big death. But his car looks good, which makes me think, surmise that he must have crashed on the mountain and been towed to pits, where he repaired his car but was not allowed to serve his mandatory pit stop.
But I really haven't seen him. Otley is in the pits again. This time it might actually be planned, although that would be a stupid thing.
Yeah, he has 2 hours left to go, so he's definitely not making that on one tank of gas.
I think on Silverstone, the longest we saw was 100 minutes from Bentley. Yeah, I think there was 100 minutes
and
on a full tank.
A car that isn't the Bentley will not make it that long, so...
No.
Yeah, anywhere... I think most, if not all cars in the game can do a little over an hour.
Yeah.
And then it just goes for between sort of 70 to 100 minutes, as we just saw. Was that Markowski was getting a little bit in the dirt there?
No, wait, hang on. Bloomfield got a drive-through for spinning in the pits, and then he crashed coming out of the pits.
Oh, Bloomfield, that is not...
And then now he's getting towed, so, yeah, that's his race.
Oh, boy.
That not only is his race, he just rage quit.
Yep. Yep.
So expect to see him in the chat in a few minutes.
Yeah, hopefully he wasn't murdered by anyone else, so he can only be mad at himself.
I'm afraid it was probably his own fault.
Back to Tarkov for you, lad. Unfortunately, hope it goes better there.
Ooh, nope.
Who died?
I just saw Oddly, who just came out from his second mandatory, just threw his car into a wall.
Oh, yeah, he's looking a bit spicy already. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think he'll be winning today. He just hit the wall again.
He has 2 hours.
And he just towed.
In order to
2
do
hours,
so.
3 or 4 pit stops. Oh, this is not his race.
Yeah, unfortunately, we might be seeing. Yeah, there we go. Another person leave the server. Sometimes you're just not on it, and that's going to happen. But someone who is on it after having been there earlier, Ollie Venner, is up into 7th position now. Is doing a good job. Has Zarensky to catch for his next position. Did a 2:02.8 in his last lap, which is the second fastest lap of anyone in the server. Steve Hughes has done a 2.7 a little while ago, which is the absolute fastest. But Ollie, absolutely on a tear, wants to catch up to these guys at the front. And he's gained a position on the guys he was fighting because of Blumfield leaving. No, Blumfield is in the GT4s. I'm an idiot.
That won't work.
But he's only got a few cars left to pass until he's back up there with the rest of the pro drivers. Justin Clerk and Kaiser-Ansky, obviously the next 2 are top silver drivers right now. Where's some fun? We're going to get to see some fun over here because there are a ton of GT3s passing GT4s over here.
Yeah, but fun and Iverson is catching up to Ware. That's kind of fun. I say catching. He's within striking distance.
Yeah, these guys still keeping it nice and close, and Lupiaz is not a huge amount ahead of them, so real competitive here. And you can see our leader there, the only Bentley in the race, Steve Hughes, coming up to lap the leaders of our GT4 field. Thank you, Twizzle, for 2 months. Huge shout out to anyone helping to support the stream. As we see the GT4s diving out the way of Hughes, not wanting to get in the way. Not that Hughes is too worried about losing too much time here. He's got a little bit of a run back to Alvarado, the next car coming.
Top 4 is still within 12 seconds, though.
Yep. And as you said, all of that time can easily come or go during the pit stops, as Mika Maninka is now pushing through these guys.
Ain't nobody saying you can't hit someone by accident or hit a wall.
That's true. That's true. Mistakes will be made. As Ollie Venner is now right onto the back of this Lexus of Kaiser-Ansky.
I'm having flashbacks to when he had to go past Hearn, because he was really aggressive here and there, and I'm just hoping he calms down now.
Yeah, to be fair, Tim, he did make it past Hearn before killing himself, so hopefully he can do the first part and not the second this time.
I hate to be the guy who brings it up again, but he did love tap Hearn. It wasn't a clean pass, I'm afraid.
Yeah, that's true. A little bit of door rubbing though. It's okay. Oh.
I mean, of course, Robin's racing, you know.
Trying to line up for it there, and it looks like he's got the inside line now. Whether he can hold it going into the second corner.
He won't.
But he's got a... So close, any of these corners could be the move now. Looking again to the outside, absolutely not going to happen.
Saransky with a good defensive move. He's a guy we haven't really seen in ACCS.
He did very well in the last season, which was his first season of coming in. So I think this is his first time in the Solo Endurance Championship. He came in as...
Would be, yeah.
Yeah, one of the extras who we have started adding more people into the SEC pool because obviously this we realise the event's gone on for so long that it's hard for people to turn up every time.
Yeah, I mean, life happens, you know.
Absolutely, and
When
so
we
does.
when we started the championship, we didn't have a COVID vaccine,
That's true. That's true.
amongst other things.
It was deep into 2020 at that time, as Ollie Venner has now got past. So Justin Clerk is his next goal. Justin Clerk is just up ahead of him right now, being held up a little bit by the GT4s as they cross the mountain. Talking about the GT4s, there's the leader of the GT4s being overtaken.
I suppose we can still assume Venner can win the race after all.
Yeah, there's an absolute possibility.
He's only 20 seconds behind now. I'm just realizing.
And he doesn't have
almost a minute down earlier.
Yes, he's been absolutely shredding it. If you check out his lap times, which you can do on the timing app, pitwall.live, he has been setting some incredible lap times. A 2:02 of only a few laps ago. He is lapping at the speed of Steve Hughes. So even though Steve has a big run out front, he obviously also has that penalty coming, the success penalty for last race. As now we see GT4 and GT4. This is a lapped GT4. Audi getting taken by the leader of GP4, Florian Lupiaz. So I believe that would have been Daniel Durrett.
The minnow shall eat its own. Sorry, it's getting philosophical. Well, actually, I'm not sorry to get philosophical. I'm gonna get that a lot over the next 2 hours because it's a 2-hour race.
We've got a nice little mix here. I always love seeing this in these sort of races where we have the fight for, I think, for 5th position in GT3. Also the fight for 2nd in GT4. The 1st position for GT4 and one of the back markers of GT4 all on the track together. This is that multi-class endurance racing that we love to see.
And
Venner is within sight of Clerk now.
Clerk, who has done a pretty good race so far. Definitely punching above his weight here.
Yep, Clerk, the master of F3. For those of you who are IC fans as well, Clerk, along with one of the guys from one of the American communities in SGP, are going to be hosting a Formula 3 series on SGP, which he is very good in. So look out for that if you're into that sort of thing. But here we now have the two Audis fighting for 5th position, and unfortunately, the top 6 positions right now are covered by only 3 manufacturers.
So, I don't even have a funny quip for it. It just shows what kind of track it is.
Although weirdly, it's the Aston Martins who are up front, which shouldn't be a great car on this track. I'm not sure. I don't think. But we do have some very, very fast drivers in those cars.
We certainly do.
We have a T-minus 5 minutes until Medzi bins it from the chat. So we're going to keep an eye on Medzi, see if that prediction comes true.
You know, it does sound like something Meadows would do.
Yeah.
I will actually put my camera on it then. Although we do have a lot of bets that we need to keep in mind. Ollie Venner wrote in the chat 100 pounds that I don't last until lap 5. And well, he kind of didn't.
Yep, no, so he wins that. Luckily, no one was stupid enough to bet against him there, I think. I want to just point out as well, just name and shame, not a fan of this livery. That blue, I'm okay with the sort of gold accenting, but the blue.
Oh, here it comes. Meadows is pitting.
All right.
Let's see if he somehow bins it by speeding.
Yep, speeding in the pit lane. I would count
that as a binning. Yeah, that should count.
Absolutely, hopefully for his sake he doesn't do it. But hopefully for Vado's point, he does do it.
It's Chris Meadows. He does stuff like that. He's been with us since, I wouldn't say day one of ACCSS, but he's been with us for a long time.
He has been with from, it might even be day one. He has been in there from right beginning. Chris Meadows, shout out to him. He's one of our head stewards as well, running some of the regular series.
Yeah, he's an OG.
Big help in the community. We always are looking for more people. If you want to join to be stewards, hit up in the Discord, because the stewarding really is what makes ACCSS special in many people's opinion. I think it's a fantastic job that they do, as we see some more lovely multi-class action here. We've got two McLarens on field together. A lot of the manufacturers liking to stick together for some reason. Horiot and Hearn, who are right now just behind one of the BMW GT4s. That is Martin's. And behind these two, not far behind these two, we have Keith Griffel and Eric Strom, I believe. No, it looks like it's Keith Griffel and a front marker or back marker, either way. I think a back marker. So they've got past the BMW there. Very damaged BMW. Unfortunate to see. Hopefully he can get some of that repaired in his pit stop.
We'll see. Well, Meadows didn't bid it. But I did do some research on OGs on ACCSS, and I realized something interesting.
Yep.
I actually joined before you.
Ah, there we go. I think I joined in the second or third race or something.
You joined on the 11th of July.
Yeah. First race I did was at Barcelona.
Yeah, I think that was my first two, followed by Hungarian. That was some good times. Good times. And I hope we can go back and have a proper 3-hour race at one of those tracks one day. Even though our next team event is 6 hours to Silverstone.
Ooh, just saw there in the back of my camera, Coleman taking a big crunch at the wall. He's okay.
Ordery corked it.
He's still running, but in getting past Daniel Bradford in the Chevrolet, he put a big dent into that wall there as Mika Maninka is now being lapped by Shane Thomas. Mika Maninka having already pit, why he is so far behind, and we also saw earlier Ollie Venner has jumped into the pits and has now come back out.
We will see some pit strategy soon, I guess.
This means Ollie Venner can get right back onto the back of some other cars and get to lapping.
And, nope, yeah, Corkery is pitting by going over the grass, but...
Yeah, people not really respecting the path of this pit entry. I've seen that a few times now.
Not quite, no.
But it is an awkward one, so I don't blame them, to be fair.
Yakino is pitting as well. Let's see if he spins it again like he did in qualifying. That is one of the rookie mistakes new people do when sim racing, is they just floor it when in the pits. We've all done it and we've all crashed.
Yep, absolutely. Shane Thomas now losing track of Alvarado with all of the chaos of lapping and back markers and GT4s. Seems Alvarado has managed to pull out a really big lead on Thomas here, who hasn't been doing so well in that department. Alvarado right now in a really nice spot of clean air as well, so he's going to pull out even more of a lead over the next few moments.
Well, it is time for some pit things, because I'm just looking at pit wall now. Venner did a 15-lap stint. Corkery 16 laps, and the rest are on 17 now. And the tires will last longer than this, but they do take time to heat up, and we have to consider that. Especially with the new tire model in this game.
Yes, a lot of people have been complaining about how long the tires can take to heat up nowadays.
Although I think we are on the old Pirelli compound, but there is still a new tire model though.
Yes, there is both new tires and tire models, which are all different.
Are you sure they're on the new tires for this one?
I am not sure.
Because I think it's only the 2020 tracks they're on, and this is a 2019 track.
Yeah, if this is the 2019 track, then it's definitely 2019 tires. I'm not sure whether Dan would have gone and updated the track, but it's quite likely they're on the old tires, but the new tire model.
Yes, which is still an issue.
Yeah, which is what makes them much colder. The tire model has the bigger effect from what I've heard and seen. New tires are a little bit different. You can definitely feel it, but
yeah, but I do like them actually. Like, I had a lot of fun with the 2020 tires because you could go more aggressive on them. As we see Daniel Bradford getting a stop-and-go 30 for speeding in the pit lane.
Well, there's a big pack here. Really awkward for Ollie Venner, who's trying to get past everyone here. There was a couple of GT3s passing a GT4, and he's now managed to just slip past Griffel and is now right behind Horiot. Corkery also just got out of the pits. Is only a little bit behind these lot, so he's going to come up to these guys soon as well. Griffel staying nicely side by side there, managing to carry it out wide. Going into the next corner, I doubt he'll be able to keep that going, but he gives it a good old try, going a little bit wide there, putting a wheel on the grass, and Ollie Venner takes the position.
Well, fair's fair, I guess. Let's see in the chat, Jason Daly is not looking forward to the silver split on this track. Oof. He should look forward to it because I will be there to cast the silver split this season again.
Absolutely.
Along with Julian Strasser, who's not here for some reason.
There's going to be a lot of chaos on this track for sure, but I can't wait. People should definitely learn this track because it is great fun.
It's fun in the right car.
Yeah. And
I'm not sure this is the right car, though.
Iverson has actually managed to get past Lupiaz somewhere here. Lupiaz possibly making a mistake because he was quite far out ahead, so real big comeback from Iverson here. And you can see Ryan Ware is just a little bit behind there as we've got the Ferrari of my mind is blanked on exactly who it is, but
it's a man in a Ferrari. Poigny. He's a Ferrari driver.
He is a Ferrari driver.
That him, and
but he is in the soy boy livery.
Yeah,
Greytrix, yeah.
A man who we don't mention a lot actually, but he's also been around for a while.
Yep, up in 7th right now, so doing a decent job. Obviously, a couple of the front runners have hit to promote a couple of these guys further. A lot of these guys further, actually. Everyone behind Sorensky right now.
So while we have a quiet moment, I'll just like to say thank you to our viewers, because why would we be here if we didn't have viewers, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It's great to see so many of you coming around and enjoying the stream. Keep putting in work to it and having a good time doing it. Love watching these races.
Yeah. We do it for you guys. We do it for you. I mean, I'm sitting here for 3 hours, even though I should be writing my finals paper. Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. I'm sitting here for 3 hours, and I have nothing else to do. I'm on holiday right now, so I can do whatever I want. And
that's a great idea. That's
right now. Whatever I want is watching Benjamin Horiot and Keith Griffel, who are about to come up to the front runners of GT4. You can see how much the GT4 field is affected by lapping traffic, because Ryan Ware, who we saw was quite a way behind the front two before, is now right back behind them, and Iverson is back down in 2nd position. So these three still keeping a great fight, and we're going to need to keep consistently watching these guys.
We're being asked about Maninka.
56. That's Mika Maninka.
Yes,
He has pit.
He took a very early pit stop.
Very early pit stop. Yeah, I think
I don't think he's had any issues. Just an early pit stop.
He didn't have huge issues. No, he was definitely reasonably up there. I think he did have a bit of an issue. He'd fallen back a little bit, but not a huge amount.
It's pretty. He's just hit early, and he's just racing.
Yeah, I think he just wanted to get out of some of the chaos. He was falling back a little bit.
And he is a P16, so it's not a bad run.
Yep, P16. Considering he's pit as well, he's he's quite a long time behind, but he's only a bit behind people like Norberg and Corkery, who hit from almost the lead of the race, so not doing too well. Still behind, in front of Dan Terry and Chris Meadows, who both have also pit.
Thank you, Tickles, for subscribing. You're putting money into Garrett's pocket.
Yep. Lovely stuff. Keith Griffel, as people in the chat have been saying, has also been running as we have a temporary stop to the GT4 battle in order to allow all of these GT3s to roll past. Keith Griffel leading the amateur split right now, obviously with that 10-second success penalty for winning the amateur split last race.
Which he will serve in a few moments. Absolutely,
and Corkery now coming up behind this lot as well, having pitched from 4th position. He's not going to want to get held up too much behind these guys. You can see there's more GT3s within this pack that are backmarker GT3s. We also have multiple laps worth of GT4 here, as Lupiaz is going to have to lap Raynor. Then there's a GT3 Mercedes backmarker there and a GT3 Porsche backmarker before we get back to some of our front-running GT4s and GT3s who are at the back of this huge pack here. Great to see. Like watching a weird Australian NASCAR here with them all packed up like that on the straight.
They actually did have an Australian NASCAR. It was called Oscar or something.
Oscar.
I can't pronounce it. I don't think they ran bad first, but I just want to bring that up.
Oh, they should, though. They should. Oh, very close there, but getting past safely. The Coleman Corkery's...
You actually got his name right now. That's good.
That's good. It happens eventually. If I just say his name enough, I'll eventually stop messing it up. That's the way I go about these things. Just brute force. Yeah, Australia has a lot of connections with the US in terms of like their car culture, which is
probably more than that, because
interesting.
They also have one of the biggest baseball leagues outside of Asia and the Americas for some reason.
Yep, that's true. That's true. I think much more on their time scale, so they get to see a lot more of American sports and stuff live. Oh. The reason I haven't been watching Supercars much because it's just such an awful time for me.
I would love to watch Supercars.
Yeah.
And a lot of our series, but they're just not on.
The VODs are a little bit awkward. So that's why I love Super GT, because they just stream it all on YouTube as we're watching Iverson in the pits.
Yeah. Speaking of time zones, though, I do have the luxury of just being able to watch NASCAR.
Oof.
Because it's just before I should go to bed comes on.
Yeah, the American sports are normally just okay. Get to watch some IndyCar.
And I will actually be watching the race Daytona 500 this year because it's on the same sports streaming package as the Six Nations in rugby.
Nice.
Yeah. A little added bonus.
Yeah, that's good stuff. Definitely got to keep up with those big enduros.
Speaking of that,
I believe I'm not going to say actually. I'm not sure if I think they might still be running the DPs this time, or they might be on the new prototypes.
The 24, yeah. And
you mean Daytona 500? Yeah, there's two big Daytona races that always confuses me.
I'm going to be watching the 24 as well. Don't worry.
Watch both of them.
Magnussen is there.
Yes,
true. They're running it at DPIs, yeah.
DPIs, they are doing one last DPI. Yeah, it's sort of right on the cusp now. I know that. The LMP1s no longer have any races to run. Mika Maninka having a little problem somewhere, has fallen behind Chris Meadows and Dan Terry, but doesn't look like he has any damage, so he's still doing pretty well. As there's a McLaren out there at the front who's just absolutely bent it over the mountain. Meadows is going to take a dive over the chicane there. Oh!
Whoa, what did I miss?
Absolutely slammed into the wall. Mika Maninka's past him, and he's got big damage here. He cut the chicane of the S's and then flew down the corner just... I think it was the dipper. Yeah, it was the dipper that he threw himself into the wall.
Congratulations, that's Zero. You were right. He did bend it.
He did.
Not in 5 minutes, but he bent it.
You're just a little bit too early with your prediction there, but big hit into the wall, Chris. Let's quickly check into his...
Yeah, I mean, it happens a lot.
His cockpit cam and see how his wheel's doing. His wheel's not doing well, Lars.
Which way is it turning?
He's turning to the right.
Yeah, I see the problem.
Yeah.
I see the problem. That ain't right. He should probably pit now.
Yeah, and he is going to dive into the pits as soon as possible to try and fix that. There are a lot of places where you can easily do that. On the mountain, get those big shunts. And a couple of the places on the mountain, if you hit the big shunts there, you do immediately murder the car. Like if you hit the pit wall, making one of the mistakes at the front, or if you hit a couple of those corners coming down the dips and such, easy to make a mistake like that.
And then you have a big F moment.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, for the nerds, we got the three leading cars are on like 23 of their tires. After 47 minutes of racing, I would imagine maybe 5 more laps on the tires before they go in.
Yes, obviously coming up towards an hour of racing now, so we're gonna see more people pitting as we get towards the tires. You can obviously see from the numbers on the left hand side of the screen a lot of ones hitting in there for people who have already pit. Yeah, and Venner has almost caught up to Markowski and Zarinsky again. He's got a lot of time on track to catch up to them and probably won't manage it, but do an incredible job to have almost, without the pit stop, almost lapped essentially these guys.
Yeah, that is terrific work, and I mean, he can still win the race. I know we had a spin early, but he can still do it.
Yep. Easy for issues to come up for other drivers at the front, and obviously Thomas and Hughes still have their success penalties to take.
Yeah, Eldorado doesn't, but actually Eldorado's pitting, coming to think of it.
Yeah.
So that's going to be the start of it, but I think Hughes and Thomas, they like long stints, so they're probably doing 2 long stints with a short one in the middle.
Yeah.
That is my prediction, at least.
Yeah, a lot of our front-running drivers like to do the 2 incredibly long stints with 1 just super short splash and dash to get them to the end. Strom there. Oh, another big hit into the wall. I'm not sure that was as big as
it was big.
Chris's, but it was pretty big, yeah.
Also, apparently DT killed Maninka, the chat claims.
Okay. We did see Maninka jump behind the 2, so I wouldn't be too surprised if that had happened. Yeah, he's got his steering wheel bent the wrong way as well. So Strom is also going to have to take a pit now and spend a little bit of time repairing. That's okay. A lot of people have spent time repairing, and he is going to get his mandatory pit stop done, and this is not a bad time to pit, so it's not all gun for Strom. This is a long race. He can definitely end up coming back from this. Yes, as Pavel says, ACC mechanics are very fast.
Yeah.
Oh, and here, right behind him, we've also just caught Steve Hughes coming into the pit lane. The default pit camera on this track is off. That's really annoying.
It is, yes, and he is actually being... Yeah, that is awful. So that leaves the question of what is Eldorado gonna do? No, he just pit what I'm saying, Thomas. What is Thomas gonna do?
Yep.
You know what? I'm not very smart today, apparently.
That's fine. Don't worry. Thomas right now is coming up just behind Nicholas Norberg, who is in 11th position, in order to lap him. He has a couple GT4s ahead of him, but they shouldn't worry him too much in terms of lap time unless he gets unlucky. So you could see him going a few more laps still. I wouldn't be surprised if he really rags it out towards the 1 hour mark.
We will see. I will leave you in charge of the pits, and I will, yeah.
Absolutely. So
Yes, you know.
we're just going to see here Thomas getting past Markowski. And now I want to have a little look back at our GT4 field and see how they're doing, because they've been just changing so much. It's hard to keep up with, especially with all the other action we have to look at. Ryan Ware is now in the lead. Rodriguez is second because the other two have pit. You can see there in the back of your shot, Lupiaz coming up. Florian Lupiaz just behind them has pit, and Iverson is still behind him. How close is he? He's quite a little way behind there, just ahead of Justin Clerk, who's going to take him in the Audi into the cutting. It's not the cutting, that's the bend. The cutting is the next one. So it's going to be interesting now we've got to keep an eye on Ware to see where he comes. And interestingly here, well, this is still Ware, with Thomas just coming up behind him. Chris Meadows, as well as Daniel Durrett, who is down in the GT4s. And I believe Ian Otley, oh no, Ian Otley's left. Those two have both completed both of their mandatory pit stops. So Chris Meadows now just has to blast it until the end, although an hour 30 is probably more than he can do on a tank, unfortunately. So where I was saying, you know, it's not a big deal for Eric Strom to have had to pit for damage there, this might turn out to be a really big deal. Really big deal for Chris Meadows. I almost tried to do the maths in my head there, but never do maths on stream. That's a rule. Shane Thomas is still out ahead. I'm not going to hold much promise for him managing to really do this overcut and take Steve Hughes, because he has that 10-second success penalty to do. But how close is Alvarado? Alvarado is just 6 seconds behind Hughes now. Hughes just, you see there in the front of your shot, just a little while ahead of Alvarado. These two right now are fighting for sort of the effective lead of the race, and that's Ollie Venner. A little bit battered on his front. He's clearly had a bit of a mishap, but he has managed to catch right back up to these guys at the front, setting some incredible pace as he does so. He actually, just checking down the list to make sure I'm not wrong, he has the fastest lap of the race, 2:02.5 from Ollie Venner, a 2:02.8 coming in from both Coleman Corkery and from Shane Thomas. Another 2:02.5 coming in from Steve Hughes is the second fastest lap. That's just behind what Ollie Venner has managed to do, and they are the only 4 drivers who have managed to set 2:02s in the race. Hopping back to our GT4 packs, let's see how we're doing. Iverson just ahead of Lupiaz, but a little bit far away now. We'll have to get some good luck with back markers slowing them down to put them together again. And further back, quick shout out to Rob Bedford, who I know we have some fans of in the chat, who is actually leading the AM class for those who have pit. I believe Rodriguez may still take it when he pits again, but he does have that 5-second success penalty, so we never really know, honestly. Just a little bit, got to be a little bit careful here as he has an Audi pass him. I believe that's Daniel Durrett, who actually has a drive-through, probably speeding in the pit lane, seeing as he's already done both his pit stops. So unfortunate there for Daniel Durrett. He's going to hop past, and then there is a backmarker Mercedes there. I believe that is Ericsson, in the yellow Mercedes. And then he has a Honda and a Porsche coming up behind him as well, but right on the straight, so he can just let a load of them past here, and it should be easy. Nothing else coming for a little while for Rob Bedford. Oh, here we have Chris Meadows getting in the way a little bit of our leader, Steve Hughes, who's looking to lap him. Steve Hughes dives through the inside, coming up on... I'm not even going to try and work out which corner name that is. As they come up now to Skyline, which is a very aptly named corner. Big fan of this. Diving past this McLaren GT4, running down the S's. Really nice feeling when you get this right, and into the dipper. Down towards the Forest Elbow, or as we call it after one of our OG favourites, the Corbion Albu. Back with Iverson, he's coming up just behind car 54, that must be, so David Wirch, unless I am wrong. I'm not wrong. Oh, it's 256, he's behind Rodriguez. So he's actually sort of fighting Rodriguez for position here, however, Rodriguez has not pit and is in a different class, so Rodriguez actually is... he's not under blue flag here. He has no necessity to dive out of the way for his fellow GT4 driver, and this is doing a nice job for us watching the race as spectators, because this is pushing Iverson and Lupiaz together as Iverson is losing some time around here. Gonna roll around the front on the this Conrad straight. Oh, and hopefully Lupiaz can get through there nice and clean without losing too much time, so they can stay together and have a bit of a fight, but it doesn't look like that's going to happen right now. Oh, there he goes. He gets through just on the back side of the chase. And Rodriguez, still not pitting, is the only GT4 not to have done so, other than Ryan Ware, who is right out in the lead. Almost forgot he was part of this GT4 with how far ahead of people he is now. Coming through the dipper.
Anyway, I'm back now, actually. I am very much back. As Gareth disappears on me.
I'm here.
Okay, good. Just being sure, because I came back just in time to see Thomas pit.
Yeah, so Thomas has hopped back out on the track and is now in 5th position.
And behind Venner, which is important.
Venner, who's been setting incredible times. Thomas obviously had that big success penalty from winning the last race.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that has thrown him way back in the field from the others. And now it's his job to try and catch up to these guys again, as Hughes is still putting an incredible run out there in 1st, but Alvarado keeping right on his track. Clerk up there in the lead of the Silvers and on the same pit phase as the others, so really impressive work there from Clerk.
A lot better than you could have expected from him.
Yep, another one of those who perhaps is slightly outperforming his grade, as these grades were set so long ago. And then we have Ollie Venner, who's just been racing up the order, who is now just behind Clerk and coming up to try and take him for another one. Clerk has not had quite as fast lap times as the boy Venner, so we could see a change of hands happening there as the two Audis, both of them moving up the field. So Ryan Ware, Julio Rodriguez, Jesper Eriksson,
and a flashing Bentley.
Michael Lewick. I believe that's all of them. They are ones who are yet to pit for the first time. Whereas we have Chris Meadows and Daniel Durrett, who have already done both of their pits. And Rodriguez pits.
There we go. I think I just saw Venner hit a wall, but that could have been my imagination.
It'll be a little bit hard to tell because his car was already pretty crunched.
Yeah, but I mean, I think he touched the right side wall.
Hopefully just a little tap there. It's coming up to the point where if he did want to pit and just get the repairs for the rest of the race, he could do so.
He could do it, but I mean, it's a long race. You might as well wait a bit and then take the repairs later because you can still get damaged.
Absolutely. The problem with pitting early to do a long last stint is that then that stint has to be perfect because you do not have the opportunity to take those repairs in with your pit stop. However, no, his wheel looks okay. He was looking a little bit wobbly there, looking from the outside, but
I think that's just because it's an Audi.
Yes, that's a good point.
It's a wobbly car.
That is possible.
But even though there are 80 minutes, everything is still up for the grabs because top 6 are 42 seconds apart as Venner comes into the pits.
Right, yep, so Venner is going to want to dive in and get out of that.
That'll be 2 15-lap stints for him.
Looks like Strom getting into the pits as well. He has a little bit of damage, but looks like he might just be trying to go for that long stint.
He could be.
Here, unfortunately, they're just about to get broken up by some GT3s coming to lap them, but Rodrigo Iverson and Florian Lupiaz still keeping that fight close right up at the sharp end of the GT4 field. It's going to be really interesting to see as well because Ryan Ware is so far out ahead right now and he does not have any success penalties, so he could actually pit, and unlike Shane Thomas, he might be able to stay out ahead. As it looks like Markowski there made a little bit of a mistake and has fallen behind the Porsche that was battling with him.
But Venner is out of the pits now. Right behind, that'll be Norbert. So he's out in P8.
You can see here the fight for 10th position between Andrew Hearn and Dan Terry, and just in the background, Mika Maninka in 12th and Steve Hughes, our leader, who is lapping him.
And some furniture is lapping at your place, I guess.
Venner right up on the back of Norberg here. This is for 7th place. And interesting, Venner didn't clear his last pit stop. So he's dived in for repairs, but he has left his last mandatory pit to go. So he still needs to take either tyres or fuel. Probably both for his last stint.
I imagine he probably had taken fuel as well as the repairs. I just kept the tires, but I mean, there's half a race to go, so, you know, maybe he's just trying to be smart. And it's not like he's lost that much.
No, he's been setting very fast lap times, and so even if you ignore that last pit happened, being in 7th position and being this fast, he's still going to make up some positions, and everyone else still has to pit as well, so he could still, this is obviously going to hurt his charge, but he could still get a decent positioning in this race.
Probably not a win now, but I mean...
Yeah, he's probably thrown that away.
I would say podium. I think he still do a podium.
It's definitely possible. As we watch our leader Steve Hughes for a little bit.
Did you just see a car on the stream come sideways then? Or is it just
not.
me imagining stuff?
I did not, but I also was looking at the broadcast tool quite a bit, so it definitely could have happened.
Yeah, I just... A purple and green car for some reason. That could be my imagination.
There is a purple and green car right behind him, but...
Yeah, that's what I was wondering about.
Looks
I
like he's
swear
doing
I
okay.
saw him go sideways.
Well, he may have, because Mika Maninka is right up on his back now, so going to put Andrew Hearn under some pressure. If Hearn did make a mistake, hopefully that means he has the pace to keep ahead. As Venner has got past Markowski now, who, as they lap the GT4 leader Ryan Ware, who has pit now, and has come out still in the lead. So
a solid effort.
Yeah, huge play there by Ryan Ware. Without the success penalty, just managing to set huge laps. And even after pitting, is still 10 seconds ahead of Rodrigo Iverson and Florian Lupiaz. So if he has a clean race for the rest of it, he could very well have the win of this.
Yeah, it's extremely likely, but it is Bathurst.
Yeah, he could
Most
very
other
easily
tracks,
die.
I would say it's possible, but close walls, you know?
So having to check through our other fields now, Julio Rodriguez has pit and has also retained the lead in the amateur GT4 class. He's overall about halfway through the GT4s. Apart from Daniel Durrett, they are nicely in order, in class order. He's got Strom just about to... Oh, Strom almost flinging into him there. That was terrifying, but Strom's going to try and go for the overtake on here. Daniel Bradford is his next actual competition in the Chevrolet.
I'm having a nightmare race, by the way.
Yeah, not a good start, but he is, and he's quite far behind, so it looks like Rodriguez has a really strong lead coming into this as we see Strom getting past. Moving up further into the GT3 field, and Keith Griffel is the leader of our amateur class so far in 14th overall and a long way ahead of his nearest competition, which is Dagnu, Piogne and Luek. Three incredibly tricky names to say with an English tongue. All 17th, 18th and 19th. Decent gaps between them all. And silver is led by Justin Clerk, who is right up at the front of this race in third position overall, looking for an overall podium. Incredible work with Nicholas Norberg doing a good job running second for those guys so far, only just ahead of Paul Gratix, who's giving him a nice fight for the podium points, at least, of the silver class. Got a nice little gaggle of cars lapping and being lapped here as well. Shane Thomas, you can see there in the background, who is in position just behind Clerk, is looking to overtake Clerk after falling behind him due to that success penalty. And then the lead of our race is obviously Steve Hughes, who's done an incredible job once again to roll out to the front of these races. Even with his 5-second success penalty, he is 12 seconds ahead of Nicholas Alvarado, who is in third position, who is himself a pretty decent way ahead of Justin Clerk in the overall third, who is only just ahead of Shane Thomas, coming through right behind him to try and take the third overall position and the third in Pro.
So everything to race for.
Chris Meadows, as is said in the chat, has cleared his stops, and but it doesn't need to be a crash to put Chris Meadows in an awkward position, because he is down in 20th right now with not a pit stop to go. However, he has been that way already for about almost 20 minutes probably, which means that if he can make it, it's going to be really tight on fuel. So we might see him having to pit again for fuel anyway.
There we go. He has actually 20 minutes. He is on lap 11 on this one. So he will probably have to take a third stop. I mean, he'll definitely have to take it. the car is not. It's not doing 95 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah, the Bentley, I think we said last time, did 90 minutes, was the longest stint we have seen in the Solo Endurance Championship, and that's the Bentley, which is the most fuel efficient of all of these cars. So we're probably going to have to see Chris Meadows stop again, even though it says he won't necessarily have to.
Of the leaders, the next one to pit will probably be Corkery. He is on lap 18 of his stint.
Little tap of the wall through Forest Elbow there by Greytix, who is trying to lap second and third in this GT4 field, who are having a nice little fight once again. The to and fro of lapping cars have put them right together. There you see the McLaren trying to catch a nice toe behind the Ferrari and get past into the chase, and he's got a nice run there. That was he had a bad line, but then the Porsche went off onto the grass, which looks like it could have been the gateway for him, but he had to, or he at least slowed down and went a little bit wide to avoid getting hit by the rejoining Porsche. So he didn't take full advantage of that, but that might have been the safest thing to do. Again, there's still an hour of this race left, so you don't want to get into an incident. As Lars rightly said, you lose more time through crashing, so going to try and overtake him in a safer way as we see Steve Hughes in the lead coming back to lap them again.
Yeah,
into the big old Bentley.
Don't die.
Don't die.
Don't die.
Strong advice. Because we've got past the halfway mark in this race. Oh, at the halfway mark, apparently, exactly now. That's how bad my maths is. But the crew chief's telling me that it seems like perfect timing. You have a look for our friend Nicholas Norberg, because I am in required of doing one of Norberg's favourite things. Getting a second drink of the race.
It is apparently beer o'clock.
We are getting from our sideline reporter, apparently from this race, Pavel Aronovich, we're getting that DT has committed another murder.
Just because you own the league doesn't mean you can kill people.
Not sure on who. DT committed many murders yesterday, mostly on himself, however, so couldn't get in too much trouble for that one. Apparently he has murdered Andrew Hearn, who has fallen back behind Mika Maninka. So Dan right now being chased down by his two murder victims.
That sounds like a great movie, actually.
We'll have to get Corridor Digital in here to make us an action flick with those three.
Indeed.
Keith Gripple here leading the amateur class with Benjamin Horrier just behind him, the last of the pro drivers. He's at the back of that picture, and between those two is Coleman Corkery, who is in 5th position overall and is going to want to lap this car as soon as possible.
Also, Chris Meadows is coming out of his 3rd pit stop.
There we go. So Chris Meadows now is actually green for the rest of the race.
Presumably.
As long as he doesn't murder himself again. Bad Zero has predicted he'll crash again. Smartly isn't giving a time limit this time.
That's, yeah.
So we'll see if that can come true again. Rodrigo Iverson still in his battle with Florian Lupiaz, although unfortunately for us it looks like it's going to be up a little bit here, because we have Daniel Terry and Mika Maninka coming through to lap the two. Hopefully no murders, but with his track record so far in this race, we can't be sure.
So yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
Oh, little tap on the wall there from Lupiaz, as though they're having to get their own lapping done on this, on the one of the forward AM GT4s there, Bedford, I believe. We got another NASCAR pack coming down the Conrad.
Will we have a NASCAR outcome?
Hopefully, we
we
won't see
won't.
the big one right now.
We will hopefully not know.
Oh, but there is a bit of a big one there from the Porsche. Got Iverson there in the background having a huge wiggle, possibly even tapping the wall there. Has lost a load of time to Lupiaz, who is now pushed ahead, and he's behind another GT3 now. Luckily, didn't lose his position to Bedford, so he doesn't have to retake that. Hopefully, for him, the GT4 can slow down Lupiaz. But that looks quite clean, so Lupiaz...
It's still uncomfortably close, right?
Yeah, they're still in there. He did a good job to hold on to that. But he's going to have to make up some of that time once again now. As while all of that was happening, Mika Mnenka has got past Dan Terry and is hoping this time not to be murdered.
We are taking bets on that one. We are definitely taking bets on it.
That's a lovely camera through the cutting as we see these guys rolling over the mountain. We'll look back at our GT4 boys. They have been pulled apart slightly there by being lapped by Andrew Hearn, who is trying to catch up and get his own form of revenge on Daniel Terry. Clerk also coming up to that same pack to start lapping them all, so a lot of people over the mountain right now. Back here we see that is the Bimmer of Martins, who has just lapped David Wirch, who is at the back here of our field. Right behind them is Rodriguez. And then Ollie Venner. Go ahead.
Chris Meadows is coming out of the pits for the 4th time. I know. Yes, I'm counting. What are you going to do about it?
Chris Meadows has decided that he rather likes the pit lane. Is now down into 27th position. Him and Strom having a bit of a nightmare right now, being down amongst the GT4 cars. Unfortunate. Although, shout out to Daniel Bradford in the big chunky American Chungus. I hope we see a few more of these joining the league again, because I love seeing this car along with the Ginetta. He has taken his last pit stop and is now free to go to the end if he can make it.
And we'll see if that American V8 can do it. Up in the front, it is still relatively close. Top 5 is within 47 seconds.
Yep, any mistake from any of these guys could absolutely throw the top of the order out. Shane Thomas has not managed to catch up to Clark, but he is slowly reeling him in, it seems. Only 0.2 faster on the last lap, but his overall times are better than Clark, so he is going to be very slowly reeling this guy in to try and take third. Clark is doing a good staunch job though, keeping himself ahead. Well, there we go. Clark is the green and black Audi that you can see just ahead of Thomas there.
Norberg is pitting from P9.
Norberg then, hoping that he can survive for the rest of the race and
even in a
not
Lambo,
have to come
that
in
should be
again.
possible. It should be possible, even for a Lambo.
Yeah, hopefully. It's Clark and Thomas are having to pass Andrew Hearn. And then you can just see there in the front of our footage right now, leader of our GT4 field, who's done an incredible job, 15 seconds ahead of his last opposition, Ryan Ware.
To 136, he says. 136. Yeah, Mika Lykke. Why are we looking at him? Yeah, crazy lag. That is a... I mean, he is Americans, right?
Yes, I believe he is, yeah.
He'll probably be fine. It will probably be fine.
Yeah, a few people end up having spikes. We've seen it from Nicholas Alvarado earlier, lagging about a little bit. Some of the Americas guys, as we are obviously on the Irish server.
Server is very much in Dublin.
Yep.
Hosted by the lovely Sim Racing GP.
And they do have Eastern US server, which apparently you can't use for AC, but for ACC. A lot of our Americas community, shout out to ACCSS Americas, who are also in our Discord, but have their own community on Sim Racing GP.
The same server, no less. And the Americans go wild. Now, I'm just gonna bring your attention to Clerk, because Thomas has gone past him.
Oh, he's made the move.
Lead change.
That was sudden. He was very slowly catching Clerk for quite a while, but Clerk on that last lap was a 2:07.8 compared to the 2:05s that most of our front runners have been setting regularly, so he must have made a big mistake there. A bit of a half spin perhaps, bit of a wiggle, bit of an off-track excursion, which has allowed Shane Thomas up into the podium positions for this race. One more stop for all of our guys at the front, but no more success penalties, so they should be having a reasonable stop.
I said it before, I'll say again. Corkery is going to be the next one who pits. He is on lap 24 of his stint. 48 minutes.
Also have a nice little selection of GT3s here. Mika Maninka still leading Dan Terry. And we can see there are a few just behind these guys. Alvarado coming up. Oh, that was big. Who was that Alvarado's just passed? It was Chris Meadows. Chris Meadows has thrown himself into the wall once again.
All right, see you for number 5.
His wheel is still straight. Amazingly, his wheel is still straight.
That's not going to stop him. That's not going to stop him.
He managed to slam into the wall sideways. So for now, he doesn't have to pit again, but we may be seeing that.
He'll fix that. He'll fix that.
Oh, and Ollie Venner's just stopped.
Yeah, that is a weird place to stop.
Ollie Venner has just stopped at the corner on Griffith's Bend. And we do not know why.
Is his car moving? I don't think... No, it wasn't a crash.
He's returned to pit. He was not a crash. He just stopped there. So he looks like he's having some sort of technical issue in real life, perhaps, as we see Mika Maninka and Daniel Terry diving into the pits. Clearly, Ollie had some sort of issue there. His car doesn't look incredibly damaged either, so he wasn't wheeling.
The corner? I mean, yeah. We'll find out.
Really unfortunate there. I was trying to look at who binned it in the chase. Someone binned it in the chase, but we didn't... Apparently, Ollie Venner has had disconnection. I don't know if that's internet issue or wheels disconnected, but really bad for him because he was having a fantastic race until that point.
Big F in the chat.
Yep, exactly. He's been having one of those. He's metaphorically, what's happened to him here is he's had one of those Sergio Perez engine blowouts that we've seen all too much this year.
In a metaphorical.
Or one of those Vettel brake failures. One of those two. As Lupiaz and Iverson right up next to each other again.
I'm just watching some adventure elsewhere. Shane Thomas passes Chris Meadows without killing himself.
That's good. That's good. That's better than last time we did a 2.4-hour race here, so... Improvement as Justin Clark is the next one to come
Daniel Terry. Dan Terry has gotten a speeding into pit lane penalty.
Oh, on his last pit stop as well. That's frustrating, and that's going to absolutely ruin his race. He was doing a decent job there near the front, apart from the murders he's committed. He was doing a decent job at the front of the silver
apart from all
slip.
the murdering and the, yeah.
Yeah, apart from those small factors.
Ignore the bad things he did.
Okay.
Just watching elsewhere, Clerk has not given up on Thomas. Thomas, who in turn has not given up on Eldorado, who is pretty close actually. Top four are within 23 seconds of each other. And we still got one pit stop to go. So that could be cool. That could be real cool.
Dude, that could shake things up as we have an awkward situation here as the two GT4s for second are going too wide into the first corner. Iverson making the move there on Lupiaz. But there's a GT3 waiting patiently behind to try and overtake these guys here, and Lupiaz not going to want to give him that room there as he wants to make the move, but GT3's got past nice and safely, and now Lupiaz is going to have to follow Iverson over the mountain. Big crowd of cars here as Hearn and Zorinsky just behind him are having to take the back markers here, the GT4s. Then Norberg taking another one down here. Got 3 different laps here of GT3s together. Always interesting to see. Each one of these cars is blue flagging the car in front of them.
Oh. Yeah, we have a reason why there was a Dan Terry murder. Apparently for Mika, a cable got stuck under the pedal.
Oh.
That's a gamer move. P7, Old Ratrix is pitting.
Yep, quite a few people diving in the pits now. We're seeing a lot of green lighting up on our timing tower. Dan Terry just coming out of the pits here. And let's do a bit of an onboard. Let's sit on board with Coleman Corkery as he's having to deal with a few back markers here.
Just go past the leader actually, Julie Rodriguez, who is solidly leading the DG4 AM.
Yeah, absolutely. Coming up now over the mountain, he's actually diving on the inside of that backmarker GT3 there. Now following, I believe that's Meadows directly ahead of him. And then either the BMW... It is the BMW of Martins. Oh, Chris Meadows closes the door on him. and he was trying to sneak through there. It was not the smartest place to try and overtake, perhaps, but he was. Oh, and then Dan hits the wall as well. His onboard's giving us everything. We've seen Dan and Chris both making mistakes. I'm not sure, to be fair, I wouldn't want to call the one with Chris. It might have been a bit aggressive to stick his nose in there, but Chris definitely came across when there was a car trying to make a move. So we've seen some more deaths here. Chris might be going into the pits again. Yeah, Oliver in the chat, one of our stewards, is agreeing there that that's not really the place you should be lapping someone, and I definitely think that's fair. Now coming up back to Terry again, so he's got even more people to lap, and we see the BMW there having a little bit of a problem. He's stuck now behind 2 cars. Aliens need to not apply on the back, and he really wants to get past. Out of frustration, it looks like he's just going to pit. Screw it.
Well, that is actually a good idea because he is on lap 27 of his tires.
Yep. And he was right behind a ton of back markers, and as we can see, not having a great job getting through them all.
But it's a good time to pit.
Quirk there, just overtaking a GT4 Audi. Oh, who hits the wall. Oof. That was a chunky little hit. See his bonnet popped up a little bit as his bigger brother goes past.
He is taking his time in the pits.
Lupiaz and Iverson still fighting for this second place.
Right, there we go. Corey is coming out now. Should have been repairs, fuel, and tires.
Yep, so as we see him coming out, he has got that green check mark to say that he is now on his final stint, just behind Hughes there. He's the first person to be 2 laps behind our leader, who or he might just be the first person to be 1 lap actually, and this might just be, it's just ACC timing confusing me. He's the first person to be 1 lap behind our leader, and he is the first person out of our front runners to have pit for the last time.
Yeah, so I mean, he can still win it ish.
Yeah, Hughes looking stronger and stronger as this race goes along. We can see he's coming up the mountain as Alvarado is just coming up to the bend here right at the start of the climb. He's got quite a safe run as long as he doesn't do any murdering of himself. But right there, someone who doesn't have quite a safe run is Alvarado, because we can just see in the distance when he gets to a straighter point. There we go. Shane Thomas, who set a 2:03.1 last lap, fantastic lap, and he is slowly crawling his way back into this. He was obviously right up at the front there for quite a while, but had to serve a 10-second success penalty, which threw him back into the field, but he has been making a run of it, coming back up the order.
Indeed. But the question is starting to become, can anyone actually catch Hughes?
Yeah, I'm starting to doubt it with how incredibly far ahead he is and how well he's doing with this.
He's had a really stable race so far.
Yeah. And he's done that in a lot of our SEC races. He's had a few mistakes here and there, but overall he has been one of our most consistent drivers, as we see Keith Griffel, leader of our AM class, diving into the pits.
Good time as ever.
Yep. As has been seen in our chats, the battle for second place in GT4 is still going on. They've fallen apart a little bit now, so possibly having some lap GT3s just lapping them. Yep, see that on the map. So not going to be back to racing again for a little while, but those two still keeping it close, doing incredibly well.
Zaransky is pinning from P7 and same place in the silver class. Another good anonymous race.
Yep, Zaransky's been very consistent, very good. Good to see him in the Lexus. Maciej Markowski as well. We've seen a little bit, but we haven't talked about him too much. But right now, he's managed to pull himself up into 5th position, so he's been doing really well, just setting some consistent laps.
Even though he did start a bit behind, actually.
Yep, he. This is the highest he's been by far in this race. He's been a little bit anomalous so far, but it's been making up those positions and just trying to stay out of trouble and make up places, which is putting him in contention for some of these moves further on. Clerk and Thomas are a long way up the road from him, but he still has almost 50 minutes to make a move and a pit stop remaining, so it's not impossible that he can make his way towards the podium.
Oh, and Hughes is in. Hughes is in the pits.
There we go, our leader.
After
pitching.
a 22-lap stint.
Giving himself nice, reasonable stints, not pushing it like he did last time.
Yeah, it should be around... Oh, sorry for going here. Should be another roughly 24-lap stint when he comes out.
Yep. So we're getting to the point now where a lot of our drivers are on survive till the end mode.
Yes, and Clerk is coming in for the pit now.
Clerk as well, yeah. So a lot of our front runners deciding that they want to have this reasonable last stint. Alvarado, Thomas, and Markowski still going. Hearn and Horiot as well, reasonably high up, and have not pit. Coleman Corkery still has about half a lap to get through before catching up to any of these guys, so I'm not expecting him to manage to take Clerk, but he could be reasonably close. So we see Hughes now back out on track. 3rd position is just behind Iverson, and I don't see Lupiaz anywhere near him. Lupiaz has actually managed to get way far ahead now, so Iverson must have had some sort of issue and has totally fallen apart, which is really sad because those two have been giving us so much constant enjoyment to go back to throughout the whole race.
I mean, they could still meet each other at some point.
Yep. It is possible. Oh, he's pitted. I'm an idiot. He's pitted. That's why he's so far away. That does make a lot more sense. He dived in for an earlier pit. So Ryan Ware and Lupaz ahead of him both still need to pit, and Lupaz has just done so.
Thomas has caught up to Alvarado now. Also, there's a bimmer on the grass. Ignore him.
32 has made a mistake as well. Not sure who that is.
That was Ted.
It was not 32, it was 23. My dyslexic brain has swapped that around, and it looks like Zarinsky has fallen down a lot in the order.
That's sad. He had a good run.
Yeah. As Iverson is now coming down towards the pits. Lupiaz is leaving the pits already, however. There he is, out of the pits already. And Iverson coming around just behind him. So he's got quite a way to go. He's going to have to really hope that these GT3s get in his way.
Or... yeah, We'll run with that.
Corkery.
Yeah, sorry, Corkery.
No worry.
Yeah.
Corkery
No,
is
I made it.
now, it looks like a lap ahead of who I think is Zoransky, so very unfortunate for Zoransky falling down so far, but he's about to come up to a couple of GT4s and is going to have to lap them possibly next time over the mountain, which is going to be unfortunate for him. But it should be fun to sit on board again. Hopefully this onboard is as action-packed as the last one, as he already is going off track there, really aggressive. Trying to make up as much time as possible on Clark ahead of him. And he has made up a lot of time, actually. Pretty impressive run recently from him.
Yep. We still have a battle between Alvarado and Thomas, though, which I want to point out. They are... Alvarado is making some defensive move. Thomas is considering attacking him.
We're going to hop between sitting on board with these two Aston Martins then, as Corkery takes the racing line through the quarry, and Thomas is starting to chase Alvarado up through the bend.
It's fair to assume that they're both going flat out at this point. One mistake ends it.
Absolutely, as Corkery has got past most of his GT4s, just one more left to go. And Thomas is nice and patiently following Alvarado across the mountain for first place as it goes in the race so far.
E7, Herd is pitting.
Excellent camera, thank you. But yeah, they're getting real close up here.
After pitting, Alvarado is on 27 laps and Thomas is on 23 laps on this stint.
Both of them doing pretty big stints.
Yeah, but in reverse order, basically.
Coming up against a GT4 backmarker now, and these sort of incidents can easily be the thing that makes the difference, and Shane did go for it there.
Alvarado is in the wall.
Alvarado into the
Shane
wall.
is waiting. Shane is waiting.
Shane, like a true gentleman, is going to wait for this, realizing that this was definitely his mistake.
Yeah, that was
basically the same thing we saw Coleman Corkery doing to the backmarker earlier on. There he is, waiting after the...
This is how Hughes wins the race,
corner.
but...
Yeah, that's definitely helped out Hughes now, who is already pit for the last time.
Yeah. So we should see Alvarado pit now, I guess. Probably Thomas as well, actually.
Yeah, Alvarado would definitely make sense. His wheels looking fine.
but I mean, he's on that 27.
Still has some damage.
So
Yep, and yeah, long stint already.
might as well pit with 38 minutes, 38 minutes ago. Those silly English numbers. Yeah, Alvarado goes in. Hughes stays out. No, Thomas stays out. Hughes, funnily enough, is already out.
Here we go. So Alvarado has jumped his way into the pits now.
Meanwhile, Clerk will probably catch Alvarado then.
I do not believe there is live stewarding going on for this event.
No, there is someone taking notes though.
Yeah.
As far as I know.
So Thomas very well may pick up a penalty for that. If he does so, it will be post-race.
Yeah, and Clerk is coming around now. Not catching Alvarado though.
Alvarado already out of the pits and back onto the straight, so he hasn't lost too much as long as he can keep faster than Clerk there. He's likely to maintain position.
And Corkery as well. Thomas and down to Corkery, top 5. They are a hell of a lot apart now. So roughly a minute. Actually, no, what I'm saying is around 80 seconds, according to my clock.
Ryan Ware is the driver here who has, you can see behind him, 2 more GT4s, but GT4s who are perhaps even each on different laps. Very wide spacing between these guys here. Iverson as... Oh, there's a dead Mercedes there that we just went past.
Dead.
Iverson is not
wants
up with
dead
UPS yet.
Mercedes.
Still trying to push forward, so Jesper Eriksson. Unfortunately, at the side of the road, has waited for people to go past so he can get back on his way and try and get round to the pit stops. Oh, yeah, that's going to be a real broken wheel. Is he going to give up? Yeah, he's given up. That's very unfortunate. If he could have managed to get round, it was worth him waiting to try, because if he could have, he would have been able to do his last mandatory pit stop with those repairs and not lose as much time.
But he should still stay in the race because, I mean, he can at least score some good points from it.
Yep.
I say that, but I mean, he is not last in his class. That is still Chris Meadows. I haven't even seen Chris for a while, but he's still alive.
Yep, we did miss one Chris Meadows death, which I have seen a picture of in the Discord.
Like a cat, he has 9 lives. And he plans on using all of them.
Yep, using as many as possible, why not?
Thomas is staying out for what will be his 29th, 28th lap. No, 26th lap actually.
Yep, really stretching this last stint. Gonna have to do a load of work to come ahead of Hughes though, because Hughes was really far ahead of him. So it's really a straight battle now between Thomas and Alvarado for who can set those fastest laps.
Yeah. But don't know what Clerk just did. He's 10 seconds behind Alvarado.
Yeah, Lupiaz is not P1 GT4. He is leading that little fight, but Ryan Ware a while ago, with his first long stint, got a huge advantage and is miles ahead right now, just rolling around, keeping his King of GT4 title strongly alive. In 18th place overall so far. Oh no, so did I, buddy. Where is a long way ahead?
But still misses a pit stop.
Yeah, where is
He's
covering
P18,
the mountain right now?
And the same for Rodriguez, actually, who's leading the GT4 AM. Certainly some interesting tactics, but I mean, it might work.
Yep, they both, I believe, they both did long stints on their first two as well. So they're doing, as you talked about at the beginning of this race, 2 incredibly long stints and then a little splash right at the end as he's getting lapped by our leader. Well, not our on-track leader, but our overall leader after the pits, probably. And our overall leader has just lapped our GT4 overall leader.
Which is not very surprising. Slight difference in speed, you know?
Yeah, a little bit.
Slight difference.
Let's go on Corkery Cam again, because he's coming up to more back markers over the mountains as he dives ahead of Edvard. Iverson is the next up.
The name.
Ooh, Iverson hit the wall there. Just hopefully not too big a tap that he's got some serious damage, but definitely making a few mistakes here is not going to help him. Pushing extra hard, trying to catch up to Lupiaz.
There are still people ahead of him, while Clerk does have a lot of empty space.
And it's now Chris Meadows' turn to overtake some GT4s.
David Verge is retiring because his fire alarm just went off.
Interesting.
That is an unusual...
yeah, it's not a common reason for retirement.
No, but, okay. Okay.
Ericsson is now back out on track after his huge repairs for that incident that he had at Skyline.
Ragetrix is in the pits again, although he was already done with his mandatories. Which is not what he should be doing, but here we are.
Possibly needing a last fuel stop before the end. .259 Horiot, it seems, has binned it at the top.
he has not exactly been amazing today, but he was present at least.
He has not
Running
lost any
P7,
positions.
I think. Yeah, I think it was P7 at some point.
Yep. Oh, Markowski there missing his braking point for the chase. Oh,
yeah, don't do it.
And Horiot into the wall as well after the chase. So a dangerous run at the chase this round for everyone as Steve Hughes is coming to lap.
Yeah, and Hughes is only 7 seconds behind Thomas, who is now on lap 29 of his stint. Yeah, that's unusual.
As we see there, Ryan Ware diving into the pits, just coming in right now. Yeah, huge stint coming in from him, and he's going to pit. So we're going to have to see if Lupiaz can make the run. He's done a decent job pulling it in the later laps, but he still has a decent way to go.
What about Julio Rodriguez? He is still missing a pit stop.
Yep, himself and Ericsson. Thomas, I believe, the last free.
Yeah, Thomas is still out for some reason.
So Rare has just got moving as Lupiaz is coming through the chase.
Yeah, he should keep that position. Comfortably even.
Yep. He was very far ahead before, so not too surprising, but he's done a decent job because Lupiaz has been cutting some time out of his lead. Can't quite see Lupiaz in the background yet, so he's still got a little bit of time to make up. He would have just come around the first corner now.
And Thomas is in now. Thomas is in the pits.
There we go.
After quite literally 60 and a half minutes, and Hughes is now past him already.
Yep, Hughes was coming up to take him anyway. As we said, huge space ahead. Really well done from Steve Hughes this race. So it comes down to Alvarado. Now, Alvarado is closer than Lupiaz was and is in a faster car. So unless Shane's pit stop is significantly faster than Ryan Ware's was, I think Alvarado is going to take his second place back.
Oh, that's a good question.
Justin Clerk, quite far behind there, is not likely to also get the position.
I was about to say that Corkery is catching him now.
Shane is already leaving.
Yeah. But, I mean, Corkery is about to take Clerk, actually.
There's Shane Thomas. So actually, Alvarado just doesn't make it. Right behind Shane, who's weaving to try and get some tyre temperature in there. Alvarado has the overspeed on him right now.
Yeah, we got 2 races now.
Right side by side going into the bend. He has the extra speed. Shane Thomas is just holding it in there and having to go around the outside. Alvarado can't quite make it, looking back towards Corkery and Clerk. They're about to come out to the same position. GT4's just getting in the way of the 2 Astons fighting up top, and I think Alvarado loses just a little bit more time to that than Shane does, as Corkery's coming up right behind Clerk into the start of the mountain section.
Yeah, he should take him soon.
Oh, and Alvarado has lost a ton of time behind the next GT4, allowing Shane Thomas to really pull away from him here. So we're going to sit on board with Corkery once again in the Corkery cam as he chases Clark over the mountain.
Oh yeah.
Pavel, who is one of our stewards, is suggesting that there could be a couple of post-race penalties for Lupiaz, for instance, that we have surely missed. So Iverson, if he can not make any more of those mistakes, not hit any more of those walls, he has a chance to pull ahead of him and take that second place back. Also, of course, Shane Thomas could see a penalty coming in for that incident, along with Coleman Corkery, who had basically the same incident but with a back marker. So very possible we'll see something coming from then as we're going side by side down the biggest straight, the Conroe Straight.
No, he doesn't actually.
Because Clark is on the inside. Yeah, and takes a much nicer exit.
Actually, yeah.
Yeah, very smart. Good job.
Basically forced the guy to actually force Corkery to take the worst line.
Yes. Absolutely, very good technique that you can do in racing. That is proper defensive driving, forcing your opponent onto a worse line so that you can get the advantage. And Corkery is going to have to try and do it all over again. As it looks like, is that Dan Terry just taking a big cut of the grass here ahead of this whole crowd of GT4s. Getting overtaken by GT4s is never what you want to see. He's got the braking on Reynor there, and Reynor actually, just gets slammed into the back of by the Lexus of Zaransky. That was such an awkward situation there because Zaransky was coming up to get past Dan Terry. I mean, it actually turns out it was to lap Dan Terry, so it's not a huge deal. But he really wanted to get through there. But because Dan Terry was retaking Adam Reynor, and Reynor had to get on the other side of the track to avoid him from his mistake earlier, there was just nowhere for Zaransky to go, and he didn't anticipate how slowly the Ginetta would be going through that corner.
And that's a lot. That's slow.
So Dan Terry now coming up on the similar liveried Mini Aston that is just ahead of him. This is Ryan Ware, who is the leader of GT4. I can't wait till we get a nice GT3 driver coming up behind this pack of GT4s that we can just watch.
Yeah, that'll be a chaos.
Let's sit on board with Markowski because he's coming up behind some of these guys. You haven't seen too much Markowski. He's in the Lamborghini.
No, I was just thinking about him.
M. Markowski just ahead of M. Maninka, just ahead of N. Norberg. Nice little pattern we've got there. And there we go, the Mercedes getting out of his way. Markowski wasn't sure what was happening there, so just waited a little bit longer than he needed to, just to make sure that the GT4 was indeed getting out of his way and was not just wiggling, not just made a mistake.
I got some good news for Chris Meadows. Ericsson is in his pits for his final mandatory.
Nice. So Meadows may be able to not be lost.
I mean, it's still a long, big old gap, but
even if he doesn't make it now, hopefully he'll be able to have just the pace on this guy to be able to make it happen eventually.
Well, you got a dream.
Markowski's now coming up. He's just past Ware, and to show you how big the gap has become in GT4 that was so competitive for so long in the race, he's coming up to Iverson.
Elsewhere in the world, Corkery is just about to catch Clerk again. Because there's traffic and there is bumping and there's touching. Yeah, some slight door rubbing.
Awkward situation here as we come up to the top again. Clerk very almost made the same mistake Corkery made before by trying to overtake someone there. The Audi makes a mistake and is going to let the other two pass. These two are now really close coming down the mountain.
Will they ever let go of each other? We might never know.
Oh, really close on the back there. He's got a bit of an advantage early on, but it can actually be a bit of a sort of a cursed monkey paw if you get the advantage too early on in the straight, because then you have to slow down behind the car you're trying to overtake. But it hasn't seemed to be too much of an issue here, although Clerk is still on the inside for this first corner. That will set Corkery up for the inside of the second corner if he can manage it, but better braking from the Audi is going to put him ahead already, and Corkery is still not going to be able to take position.
One fateful day he will.
Markowski has got past Adam Raynor on the top of the hill.
Yeah, he is no threat for them, but with 18 minutes to go, we can still have a big crash. Just one small, friendly, massive crash.
Talking of big crashes,
Are you saying you have one, or?
we did just have one. I'm trying to check who it is. It was 789, so it was Chris Meadows.
Why am I not surprised?
I just checked my map and he was in a yellow. And yeah, he's chonked. He's chonked that one.
Just as I thought he could do something useful, he didn't.
Yep, and that's him going straight with right hand down.
Well, that's not a surprise, but good job, Chris.
Yeah, this might be pit 7 or something now he's coming up to, I think.
I can actually check if I can find him. Nope, pit 6.
Pit 6. Ah, not
Yes.
quite as bad as I thought it was. As Corkery
But
is
still
having
bad.
another go at Clerk. Once again, he's got up real close right at the edge of the mountain, which isn't exactly where you want to be close. Oh, that looked almost like a little tap there even. As they're coming over. Oh, lots of broken signs there somehow. I don't know how these broken signs get there, but...
Will Clerk do it again?
Yeah, Clerk going
Hold
for the
it.
exact same thing. Good braking. And he's done it again.
Yeah,
We might end up seeing this every lap as there's Meadows. Markowski there, getting ahead of some more GT4s. Keep missing the GT4 lapping that I wanted to show, just because Corkery has given us such a good fight with Clerk here.
He has no win to quit.
Let's have a look from the back of Clerk now to keep Corkery right on his tail. In the back of this, Ware has been pulling out even more of a lead on Lupiaz. So Lupiaz, after not making the undercut work there, has not been able to keep up the pace that he had on his last set of tyres. Might have to ask Chris how the signs got there. All right. Fair enough.
It was Chris.
I guess he did have the right hand down, so he probably was struggling to drive straight, perhaps. As we're now getting back down to the end of the mountain section. Although Coleman took a bit of an awkward line there, and so isn't as close as he has been the last 2 laps.
We haven't mentioned for a bit, I think. Still second behind Thomas. Norberg 4 seconds behind Meninka. Hearn 10 seconds behind Saransky. No, 2 seconds. Yeah, 2 seconds. There's still stuff happening on the track.
And Dan Terry has died. at the Forest Elbow. Oh, that camera was a bit of a tricky there.
Oh yeah, that's he's parked.
He's managed to get
Not the
himself
right place to
going
park.
and not murder anyone, but he spun into the elbow. It looks like he just did one of those spins into the elbow, so probably not a huge amount of damage. His front of his car looks fine. Those spins are really easy to do, and if you just slam on the brakes early enough, it's quite rare to take damage from the inside wall of that corner. It's normally if people are crashed against the outside wall, that's when they've taken a lot of damage.
Yeah. Alright, so Chris killed Rob Bedford, who did retire from the race.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah, but
Never what you want to hear. Oops. We're back on board with Coleman, who is right on Justin's buttocks as they run over the hill again. Oh, very close now. No touch yet, but he's actually made the move, go through the corner there.
It'll stick, it will stick.
As the Audi was, just made a mistake and lost so much momentum over the top of the mountain. That was close. And now Corkery, who seemed to have the advantage over the mountain on Clerk, will have the opportunity to start pulling away. Because he
might have, there's too big of a gap now.
He will no longer be caught up behind Clerk on the mountain section, and he's hoping, be able to stretch out his lead.
Would be Geneva up front. He's a good driver, he won't be causing any drama.
You also have Dan Terry here, who's right behind Ahern. Hopefully he doesn't murder Ahern again. This isn't for position, so... Actually,
that doesn't stop him.
No, Dan Terry is actually a lap down, so he doesn't even have blue flags. This would be him attempting to unlap himself as he pulls out to do it. Gets a good run on the straight. It looks like Andrew does have a little bit of damage, might be slowing him down. And Dan Terry's not got enough time to take that position, unfortunately.
Alvarado might have a run on Thomas in a few seconds.
Hopping on board then with Alvarado, or at least on cam with Alvarado. Reasonably close. These two keeping it going throughout the race.
Sure have.
Yes, that's P13 before penalties. Good point there from Pavel in the chat. Once again, this race is having stewarding. They are recording incidents, but they are going to look at the incidents after the race. Our championship series is our races that are guaranteed to have live stewarding, but these two series are sort of in the middle, where sometimes if we have the stewards, they'll get live stewarding, but we can't have infinite stewards. So yeah, sometimes they won't. They will always be stewarded, but not necessarily live stewarding. And if you want to help out the stewards, we're always looking for more stewards to get involved and have some fun judging incidents.
We are always hiring. Always hiring. It's on our Discord.
Yep, the only events that we don't have stewarding for, I believe, are our AC events. We're going to start doing Wednesday events again, and they will also not have stewarding. So for those races, we ask if you ruin someone, do the gentlemanly thing and let them past. But for all of our main championship series, we will have stewarding, even if there's not there.
On live stewarding. As Alvarado was stuck behind a banner.
And that's really wrecked him. Thomas has even got ahead of Lupiaz in the McLaren, who's up next. And that's going to slow Alvarado down even more. He's had two bad encounters with GT4s on the mountain, and this is the sort of thing that can happen in these multi-class races. He's got to hope that Shane's going to have a similar bad luck coming up behind some people himself.
We got another battle for position. Horiot and Hearn in the battle for P10.
Lovely. Horiot right up behind him.
Yeah.
McLaren on McLaren.
Hearn making a few mistakes. Yeah. Some hot British action. Yeah, he has to run.
Yeah, good job, nice.
And I mean, yeah, that's just gonna stick.
Yep, easy move there. DRS pass. It looked like
Just something like that.
Sailing down the side. So we've seen 2 people now soar past Hearn on the straights with no issues. So that is making me think that Hearn definitely has enough damage to be slowing his car down straight line speed.
Yeah, that's a fair assumption.
Oh, firemen actually came to David Wirch's house, so hopefully everything is okay over there in his apartment complex. No one's burning anything down. And hopefully, you know, it's one of those weird positions where I hope there was at least some fire, because otherwise the fire engine's time's going to be wasted, and it's always the worst when emergency services time gets wasted by idiots. But look at that. As we were looking at that, a huge hit into the wall. Well, maybe not a huge hit, I may be over-exaggerating there, but Horiot, at least a reasonably big hit into the wall. Yeah, you can see his bonnet is popped up a little bit. So we have McLaren on McLaren action all over again, but this time they might both have damage limiting their top speed, because Horiot put it into the wall.
An equal race then. Yeah.
Here we go, Hearn. I'm having some serious deja vu here.
Yeah, for some reason.
So Hearn doing a DRS pass, it looks like, down the straight. Was now
a bit slower.
Well ahead of Horiot, and Horiot, you know, he's now been passed twice on the straights, etc., etc. Might have some damage. Let's hope that Horiot can keep it out of the wall in the forest elbow this time.
But we're always taking bets on it, you know? Could happen again.
Could do. We're not gonna give up the chance that it might. We might be stuck in some sort of horrible bar first Groundhog Day, as Hearn this time is the one to give the wall a bit of a kiss.
Norberg is pitting from P11. Oh, actually, no, he's pitting from far above. That's interesting. Why would he do that? Because
Not
he's
sure.
done six. That's why he picked here.
Perhaps he pit too early last time and had not enough fuel, or just messed up his pit?
He was on lap 26 actually.
Yeah, so perhaps he had to pit for damage and ended up getting out of his rhythm. That's unfortunate for Norberg. He was doing really well. Has been now seeing Alvarado coming right up behind Thomas here. This could be an attempt at a move, and we could end up seeing exactly what we saw with the other two, where Thomas has taken the better line there.
Pretty much, yeah.
And has done exactly what we saw with the other two. Alvarado is going to have to come around again, but unlike with Corkery and Clark, Alvarado does not have as significant a pace advantage across the mountain. So we may not be seeing the same every lap action, but Alvarado is going to have a good go at doing this again on Shane Thomas.
4 minutes ago. It's a good time to do something if you want to do it.
Well, Steve Hughes is still out way in the front. Actually, almost a 30-second lead now on Thomas.
Yeah,
Clerk?
I don't see that disappearing.
Yeah, don't see that changing at all. Clerk has been falling down the order since he was up in that lofty podium position that he had before, but he's still in 5th position, which is very good. Well ahead of any of his silver split rivals, and Keith Griffel is holding on an impressive 11th position as leader of the AMs in the 888 Porsche.
An excellent run.
Then in our equivalents in GT4, Ryan Ware has the leadership of GT4 overall, with Lupiaz and Iverson still behind him, pre-penalties of course. All of this is pre-penalties after the race. And Julio Rodriguez is still holding on to that amateur GT4 lead. Great improvement seen from him, and he's been doing really well in this race.
Indeed, we've had some good performances and some less good performances. To put it mildly, at least. So what are we looking at?
Daniel Terry right now, who is just about to come up to the mountain. Behind him is Steve Hughes. Oh, and there's Chris Meadows, who's clearly been in the wall again.
Surprise. But I would imagine we have 2 laps left then.
Yep, can't be too long. Jesper Eriksson is the one behind Steve Hughes, with Maciej Markowski coming up just behind him.
Alvarado is still hot on Thomas's tail, but not quite close enough to do anything.
We have some nice close packs of GT4s, but apart from Alvarado and Thomas, most of them are on different laps. You can see behind these two there's another 3 GT3s who they've just lapped, who are nice and close together, but I don't think any of them are fighting for position, unfortunately. These two keeping it alive though, fighting right till the end. Not long left to go.
Alvarado getting a better run for the mountain.
Dan Terry seemed to have issues there, as just let a load of people past him, so possibly having a mistake at the end of the mountain section there. And a big one coming in, a big slide coming into the chase. It's gonna
power slide.
Throw him down some more, exactly. There's Alvarado. Close to Shane, but not close enough to make any sort of move here. And the leader is on the final lap.
Oh yeah. 1 more lap, people. 2 more minutes.
And we've got our top 5 restored from much earlier on in the race. Unfortunately, the second Audi is not there to join Clark up the front.
Venner had a complete mechanical failure, I guess.
Yep, apparently
from his wheel.
His wheel and pedal was disconnected. Which is very unfortunate because he was doing incredibly well and could have given us a nice, exciting run to the end.
The leader is going over the mountain for the last time.
Steve Hughes is right on top of the mountain, has 1 more GT4 to lap. He is at the front of this pack of GT3s, so none of them are going to get in his way.
It's Geneva in front of Hughes, so it shouldn't be a drama.
He has been slowed down coming across the mountains, but That just happens sometimes. Maciej Markowski right up behind him.
Meadows is in the pits again.
Yep, I believe
7 now.
I
believe it's 7. Okay, Eldorado has time for one more attempt now. And I think he has the slipstream. Now would be a great time to change the camera. Even though there is a race winner coming on.
Already on it.
Yeah, he has the slipstream. It is time for big balls.
Oh.
There's a touch, there's a touch! Oh, and he killed himself. He killed both, actually.
Looks like a little bit of a little bit of netcode there. Put them real together. Obviously, Alvarado playing from America.
Crosses the finishes line, but I mean,
there's a bit of lag. Yeah, Hughes has won and is doing donuts at the end.
He should. But wow, that
look at those checking flags. How spread out they are. That's so wild.
Corkery is having a good one, so he's coming in 4th. But wow, that was close.
Yep, Corkery.
There's enough room because Daniel Terry is doing donuts too.
And just ahead of Corkery, we see Ryan Ware coming in to win GT4.
Yeah, let's see. Rodriguez on the mountain. Griffel is winning his class now. GT3 AM winner. Got 35 drivers started, and 26 of them will be finishing the race.
Yeah, Rodriguez coming around to the last of our class winners to win anything. As Lupiaz crosses the finishing line.
Yep, that should be it. The last driver on the track will be car number not in the game. Huh. Weird. No, it's just Payroll says there's a number 170, but there's no 170.
Well, we'll throw on the timetable so we can have a look at the end of this race. Steve Hughes is your Solo Endurance Cup winner, followed by Shane Thomas. And actually, we can't judge this too far because Alvarado has already quit the server and has been thrown out of this list.
We can see it on pit wall.
That's true. That's true.
There is a slightly over a 5-second gap. We'll see how the penalties come out. We don't know when those will be called, though. But
yep. But for now, we can look at our GT3 field. As Steve Hughes, Shane Thomas, Nicholas Alvarado are your podium, with Kalman Corkery, a new runner in our championship, coming in 4th. Very good showing from him. Justin Clark coming in 5th overall and taking the win in the points for Silver Split. Markowski, Maninka, Zaransky, who's a silver, Horio and Hearn, who's another silver, rounding out the top 10 before Keith Griffel takes the amateur crown in 11th position overall. Moving to GT4s, we have Ryan Ware, who won by a huge margin. Incredible drive from him ahead of Lupiaz and Iverson, who were very close fighting for second of the whole race. Martins bringing the BMW in 4th, in ahead of Rodriguez in 5th, who takes the amateur crown, and Yanba, who is another pro. Then Bradford and Raynor, 2 more amateurs before Durrett, the last of the pro in the top 10, and Bedford taking the 4th position for amateurs, is the last in the top 10. So that was, I think, a very good race. Very entertaining stuff. As we come back to the break screen, and I remember to grab my camera, which was not looking anywhere near me. Hello, I'm back. And
are we? Yeah, we are. Mine was pointing towards the ceiling, so it's okay. And I shouldn't turn on the light. I just realized. There we go. Sorry for my hand.
No worries. So, yeah, that was a good race. We had decent action most of the way. Considering it was such a long race, I'm impressed with how much we had people fighting Alvarado and Thomas giving us a good fight. Lupiaz and Iverson until right at the end gave us some really good fights. And then Corkery and Venner were really good to watch, cutting their way through the fields. So a lot of fun there.
Until Venner died, but yeah.
Yep, Kirk keeping a good, strong way in. So we're going to let the remind you all of what you can see before we've... I'll run the highlights again before we do the outro so you can actually see it with the sound. I hope you all enjoy the new highlights. Remember to ! Sign up if you want to. If you've enjoyed what you've seen today and you want to get involved, we do a ton of races all over the place. The next season is going to be starting, I believe, next week. So check out for those streams on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
And join us.
Yep,
we'll
join
find
us there
room
for
for
them.
you.
Let me just...
Join us in watching, join us in racing, just join us.
Absolutely. So, ! Timings. I hope you've enjoyed ! Timings. Pitbull TV has been a really nice feature that we've been able to add to the races and has allowed everyone to keep up with the pit stops as Lars has been doing and to keep up with how everyone's going even when we are not always watching. Silverstone 6 hours on the 28th of February will be our next team endurance race. That will be happening either just before or just after the next round of the SEC, which will be taking place somewhere that I don't remember.
Yeah, that's a good question. When will it be taking place?
The next race overall that we'll be doing will be this Tuesday. It will be the RSS Formula 3 cars in ACC at Spa, the Red Bull Ring, and Chang International. 3 great circuits. Going to have some fun there. And daily, you can join Leonard Schungel in the Skip Barber Daily series on their Discord channel. They have their own Sim Racing GP community for that and their own Discord. So head on those. They're nice little fun cars if you want to try them. We obviously have ours every week. There's Meadows. A nice picture to end our stream with. Don't be like this.
Don't do a Meadows.
Don't. Unfortunately, the next solo endurance cup race will be round 4 at Imola. Round 4 at Imola on February the 14th, so just before the next SEC, before we have our finale in March in Kyalami.
Yeah. But our next broadcast should be on Friday, or first race of season 4.
Yes. Next broadcast cool. Friday, first race of season 4 with Dan and Paul Glover, followed by Lars and Julian on Saturday and myself and Stefan on Sunday. So I hopefully will see you all there. Any last words, Lars, before we leave?
I actually don't have anything. I'm just happy the whole server didn't melt down.
Lovely. Yes.
Yeah.
The server not melting down is definitely a plus. Especially yesterday when we did our first team event. The server not dying then was very good, although we did have to reset one of them at the beginning. But anyway, thank you very much for watching, everybody, and we will see you next time. I hope you enjoy the highlights, and I will post them in the Discord after this if you want to watch them back. See you later.
ocean swirl.